Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special one-shot here on Thousand Faces TTRPG and Go Buff Yourself of Our Brilliant Ruin. I am incredibly excited to tell this story, and I have 4 incredible people to tell this story with. So, let's go ahead and meet our players for this one-shot. Starting, I'm going to start at somewhere on my screen. Over here, Danny, playing Gregory Shaw.
Yeah, hi, my name's Danny. You can find me online at Danny Reba pretty much anywhere. I'm also the Senior Marketing Manager at Studio Hermitage, which was the creator of Our Brilliant Ruin. We have a free PDF that you can check out on DriveThruRPG if you want to get the core rulebook, and a bunch of other accessories and extra downloads that you can check out there as well.
Excellent. And then going down here, Lauren, playing Grayla.
Hey guys, you've seen me, you've heard me, I'm obnoxious, and I have been invited to do this, much to the dismay of everyone here. So, watch as shenanigans ensue. I'm really excited to play Grayla. She's an animal lover, and we'll get into her story and everyone else's story soon.
Down here, we have Mallow, playing Niles.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited to play this because this is, as you can see, up my alley. So I'm very excited.
And last but certainly not least, over here to my right, left on your screen, we have Rachel playing Lady Philomena.
Hi, yes, my name is Rachel J. Wilkinson, and I'm going to be playing Philomena Willow. I am the senior writer designer at Studio Hermitage, one of the creators of Our Brilliant Ruin. And yeah, I'm excited to be here today. Oh, also, we have a audio drama, Clawmore Heights. You should go listen to it. I made it. So there you go. Yes, thank you.
Right there. Yeah.
Shameless plugs all around.
That's what we're here for. So seriously, this is a very cool, fresh, different system and very different setting. If you're used to only playing in high fantasy settings where there's a lot of combat and you want to change a pace, but still want a little bit of that element of danger in there, maybe you love the social elements of TTRPGs the most, seriously, check out Our Brilliant Ruin and the art. Oh.
And also for my tactile friends, the book feels so good in your hands. Ugh.
And though the rules are free online, that book is worth it. Just for what it's worth.
You want to touch it.
That is a gorgeous edition. All right, a few final notes before we jump into a very brief rules overview, just so that you understand how the game is played, and then we'll move in. This shouldn't be as 18 plus in terms of language as some of our other streams, but I would still caution it PG-13. I don't know if an F-bomb will drop. I have no control over my mouth sometimes. It shouldn't, but just be warned anyway. The cleaned up version of this episode, with gaps taken out, a little bit more music added, will be up on the Go Buff Yourself podcast here probably in about 2 weeks. So if you have to duck out early or you want to listen to it again, show your friends what the system is like, check it out on there. All right, there's my shameless self-promotion. Now, let's talk a little bit about the system, very briefly, of Our Brilliant Ruin, just so, again, you can at least understand what is happening. Most rolls in Our Brilliant... Well, first of all, every roll in Our Brilliant Ruin will be made by the players. I will not roll a single die tonight. And most of the time, when the players are making rolls, they are going to build a dice pool of D6s. And they're going to do this by selecting one of their skills, and one of their personality traits. There are 9 of each. And depending on how they are going about something, they will choose different skill and different personality trait. And depending on their rank in those different things, that will determine how many dice they roll. Successes are known as brills, while failures are known as glooms. And a roll of a 6 is a brill or a success. A roll of a 1 is a gloom. There are more rules than just that, but that is enough to get you into the game to understand what is happening when we talk about brills and glooms. And if you roll more brills than you roll glooms, and typically if you roll at least one brill, sometimes you'll need more, that's a success. But so that is how we are going to determine things via dice rolls. Anything important that you think I missed there?
Can you do a TLDR? What's a brill? What's a...
Brill, in most cases, unless you have invoked passion, which is something you can do to use extra dice, in most cases, a 6 is a brill.
Thank you. Okay.
This is something else I should probably mention. I do have a very lovely talkative cat, and so it is going to be in canon that everywhere you all go, there is a 50% chance there is a cat.
It's my emotional support cat.
Look, there. It's canon now. But brills, 6s, unless you've invoked passion, in which case it is a 5 or a 6. And glooms are a 1. 2, 3, 4 will never do anything. So you can ignore those results.
All or nothing, baby.
Why should they even bother to exist?
Why?
Hey, I mean, on
What's
the
the
special Our Brilliant Ruin dice, they pretty much don't. So
No, they
check
don't.
those out too.
It's the end of the world. Middling doesn't count.
Oh, is this where I do the special dice?
There you go. Come on. If I give you the
Yeah,
opportunity
there you
for
go.
a
There
shameless
you go.
plug, shamelessly
I'm
plug.
gonna take it.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right. I think that is enough for us to get started. Is there anything else anyone can think of on the rules front that is necessary for the listeners?
Just portfolio, maybe that you do have access to
Great
portfolio,
point.
and so you do have some auto successes. They work a little bit like you have backgrounds or things that you have access to. They're sort of outside your personal person. So whether it is, some of them are access, your entourage, information, a mentor, wardrobe. It's like if you have to dress for an occasion, I just say I spent a wardrobe, and this is how I acquire pearls. So
It is that. Thank you so much for mentioning the portfolio. And the other thing to mention is, like Rachel said, most of the time, with extreme exceptions, it will just be an auto success, but it will be an auto decent success. It won't necessarily be as good as you might have been able to do through role-playing, rolling it out, seeking something better. With the pearls example, her character might be able to find a old set of pearls that belonged to her grandmother, but they might not be as clean and shiny and new as if she had gone out and bought them from the most fashionable local jeweler. But they are still a success. So that is very important to know, especially in certain aspects of this little one-shot. So, I think we are going to be good to start. What do you all think? All right.
definitely good.
Let me turn on a particular track here. The world is dying. In some ways, in some of the most important ways, according to some, it already has died. Before the memory of anyone living, generations ago, the light of a distant, dead, and strange star reached our world, bringing with it the ruin. The ruin. The name the people of the Dramark use both for the light itself and the result of it. And it changed the world forever, contaminating the planet, corroding its resources, and befouling life itself. The world is dying, and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop it. But the world is also a wonder. There's a distressing and comforting freedom in the knowledge, the certainty that the world is ending and nothing that you or I can do will so much as even slow its demise. For a multitude of reasons, the arrival of the ruin also forced the world into a new modernity. And, as tends to happen in the face of one's own mortality and powerlessness, a new gilded age of art and expression and knowledge and even splendor. It's Excuse me 1 second. Cat scratching. Welcome to the Dramark, a world and society infatuated with its own grandeur, even while in the middle of its own death throes. This story is not about saving the world, because we can't. This story is about 4 people doing whatever they will do with that certainty and that knowledge. And so, as we pick up our story, as we start our story, we start in a car. We can hear its engine and we can hear the crunch of loose gravel under its tires. There is a chauffeur sitting far in the front seat. But it isn't her that we're interested in. The camera instead focuses on 2 individuals seated in the rather luxurious leather back seat of this vehicle. A vehicle that has been provided to these 2 by House Astus Willow, and as such, the interior here is blacks and deep purples with black curtains on the windows of the interior of the windows of the vehicle. And who do we see seated back inside here? Let's start with the person who is responsible for this car driving down this road in the first place. Niles.
Niles is a very thin, sort of waferly man, dressed in a fancy button-down shirt and vest with a bowler hat on, because he just couldn't be bothered to comb his hair this morning, so he's tied everything back as much as he can. And he is seated with pinstripe slacks that have been tailored, that go into black, as shiny as he could get them boots. And he's just kind of sitting there very listless and very just kind of maybe hungover / bored with the world on this drive up to where they are headed, actually.
And seated also back here, Lady Philomena. Who do we see?
Lady Philomena is a little older and is also looking very bored right now. The drive was tedious. And yes, and imagine, I suppose, a funeral director / school marm / aristocrat, something in there, all black. Not looking quite as severe, but definitely has an agenda for being here.
And the last thing I would love to know from each one of you, and this is a bit of a look inside of your head, but this is a one-shot. We don't have as much time to slowly get to know these characters. Our Brilliant Ruin has a wonderful thing, part of its character sheet, your epigram. I would love to know what each of your epigrams is.
By all means, ladies
Niles?
first.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. Yeah, can someone else do this?
Huh?
That is her epigram. Can
Oh,
someone else do
oh. For a second, I was like,
Like, what?
You want me to read it for you?
No. Can someone else do it? Yes, that is the epigram.
Perfect.
Niles is the worst is not that one gets burned, but that the flame goes out.
And so as we hear the crunch of the gravel, the last thing I want to know in this moment from the two of you, Lady Philomena, you said you were bored, or looked bored. I
Well,
want to.
yes, wishing somebody else was doing this, but yes.
That's perfect. That answers my question for you. So then, Niles, what is Niles feeling in this moment as you begin to approach Crowscroft Manor?
He kind of like pulls the curtain just slightly open and all like that, and he just kind of looks out on the very dreary area that they're in and just kind of sighs like it's such a rundown area and stuff like that. He's feeling determined, but also very, very, very upset that he's got to go through this in the first place.
And as you pull one of the curtains aside, you can see, situated atop a sloping hill, still a little off in the distance, because everyone knows that the longer the driveway, the more important the person. So you've already been on this little driveway for about 2 minutes, and you still have several more to go before you reach the front of the estate. And you can see, there it is, situated on the hill with meadows and forests surrounding it, Crowscroft Manor, the estate that you specifically requested be transferred into your hands as a member of House Astus Willow to prove yourself and your value to the house. And as you pull closer and closer to the house and look through again, I think there's a part of you that begins to feel the weight of that decision, because though the house looked like any other manor from a distance, as you get closer, the literal and figurative cracks of the house become more visible. Moss has started to dominate the walls here, and not just innocuous moss that has begun to chip away and eat into the masonry itself. A lot of the wood trimming of this 2-story estate has rotted away. The path that you're driving up gets more and more weed infested. You can see that the barnyard area has been entirely taken over by, or retaken by nature, plants just growing through, in, and out of the stables. This is going to be a lot of work.
He will never show it, but in his head, he's just looking at the fact that he's a little bit of like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into?
And as the two of you approach, you see 3 figures waiting for you near the front gate of the estate, 2 of whom you recognize and 1 of whom you don't. And so, as the 2 of you still have about 1 minute of driving up the front drive, is there anything you say to each other before you pull up to Crowscroft Manor?
Oh, well, wasn't this a nice decision?
Yes, I mean, it is unfortunate that we have to go through this, but I promise it will be worth it in the end.
I'm going to hold you to that.
We will have the fanciest of balls after this. Trust me. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be great.
That's
We'll
what
throw
you
all
keep
sorts of
saying.
things.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that we have to go through this in the first place. So, if they would have just understood the brilliance that I bring, we would just be having fun, not sitting here working and fixing up whatever this is.
Whatever this is right.
Yes. Well,
And
we will make it work.
as Niles pulls the curtain back again and looks out at this manor, the camera zooms from the car to the individuals waiting here at the estate's gate. And as I said, there are 3 figures. One of those is a woman, mid-50s, brown hair gone a little gray, that is tied up in a bun and wearing very proper and professional clothing of the League of Glove and Key. But it is not her that I want to focus on right now. It's the other 2. So, Grayla, would you mind describing the first of these, or the second, I guess, of these 3 individuals that we see here?
Um, Facing the estate and cocking her head to the sound of gravel coming up the way, you see from behind a wiry, 6 foot tall woman in ill fitting clothes. You see cigarette smoke drift out of a scar laden mouth, smelling distinctly of cloves. As she hears the approach, she turns and takes notice of herself, looks at her clothes, and realizes, oh, I have to present myself well. She has an ill-fitting long-sleeve shirt that has pockmarks of several shapes and sizes on the sleeves. She rolls them up haphazardly, and you see matching scars on her arms, probably from working with birds and various clawed creatures. She's got a tie around her neck as well as suspenders down her sides. She pulls those suspenders up and over her shoulders, straightens her tie, and pulls her long hair back over her shoulder. Takes a big deep breath and tries to compose herself. Gray is ready to meet her new employers and hoping to make a great impression with the animals here as well as the people. Her motto in life is, we are not above the laws of nature and we should act accordingly. You can see by her loving scars that she's embraced this full force.
And the individual that we see next to Gray.
So Gregory has he has a flat cap on. He has kind of some rough, like 5 o'clock shadow. Definitely feels like he's not super put together, but he's also not trying to. Kind of almost the opposite of Grayla in that respect. He has worn kind of wrinkles on his face, but he doesn't look old. It kind of is just either from the weariness of the world or his work or whatever has kind of just given him this worn look to his features. He does have kind of this weird fashion going on where he has these work overalls in kind of a gray color, but he has a blazer over it, a dark brown blazer that has some rips and tears in it. Not huge rips and tears, but kind of just the edging of it is a little worn and frayed. It definitely seems like he's just maybe been wearing the same blazer for a long time and has never seen a reason to get it repaired or, tailored. He does have a belt that he wears that has a couple tools along it. So he's got, a strap for a hammer. He's got a couple other small like screwdrivers and a couple pockets and other pouches for other accoutrements there. And he is not necessarily concerned with the car. He's actually already looking at the exterior of the house and kind of trying to figure out what needs to be done here. He's actually probably up at like one of the edges looking at the moss or the overgrowth and like peeling back some of the plants just with his bare hands, just like not even really caring about it.
Some of the creeping ivy on the exterior of the house, and some of the masonry crumbles away along with it. And yeah. I feel like after you do that, knowing that you're going to need more tools, you just kind of like lay it back down for a second. Yeah. It's
definitely, he's making a lot of mental notes, murmuring under his breath. If he looks like he has an expression on his face that's like, oh boy, all right, this is definitely an undertaking. So he's just kind of doing that, being very autonomous on trying to figure out all the work that's going to need to be done here and trying to figure out what he's gotten himself into as well. His epigram is keep your tools sharp and your words blunt.
Love that one so much. And the third individual here, the other member of the League of Glove and Key, I know that, Gray, you are also a member of that same guild, but you came from 2 different towns. Not every member of the guild knows each other, quite far from it. But there is still that mutual respect there. And so upon your immediate arrival, she introduced herself to you as Maeve Hume. And as the car pulls to a stop, the dust of the gravel settling, the chauffeur steps out, walks along to the side closest to the house, and opens the rearmost door for you two, Niles and Lady Philomena.
Niles will get out of the car first, and then we'll brush past the chauffeur as if they're not standing there, and just start to kind of look out over the entire estate, leaving the lady in the car.
The chauffeur extends a expected and proper hand to Lady Philomena to aid
And
you.
Lady Philomena takes it and she steps out. She surveys the scene in front of her and thinks, oh, wonderful. The staff is as shabby as the house.
The chauffeur wastes no time after you step out in closing the back door, getting into the driver's seat, and leaving. And
Leaving us in the dust.
literally and figuratively. And the departure of this chauffeur only serves to drive home how on your own in this endeavor you really are. And with the dust of the departing car still settling, the woman approaches the two of you. Lord Niles, Lady Philomena, my name is Maeve Hume, and I have had the privilege of being the caretaker of Crowscroft Manor since Lady Valeska departed years ago. If it please you, if you're not too fatigued from your journey, it would be my pleasure to show you around the estate.
You've been keeping this up since they left us unexpectedly?
Looks back to the house and then turns to you with setting a confident look on her face that isn't necessarily reflecting reality. To the best of my abilities, it has been with limited funds and only myself to do so, I've done the best I can. But I am sure that with the return of residents here, that it will be brought back up to its former glory in no time.
Even more so, my dear. Yes, let us, and he'll turn back to the lady, and he'll just kind of look and, please, show us around.
And Gregory and Gray, as your two, or at least your one patron or employer or whatever his association to you is here. Do you approach? Do you stay, keep your distance?
I think Gregory is very just still laser focused. He kind of hears voices, turns his head over. What have you gotten us into here, Gray?
I didn't do anything intent. I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to, prove ourselves. Not that you need to do that, but I do.
Okay, well, I'll let you take the lead then.
Oh no! You do the talkie. I do the. I'm more of a fetch kind of guy, girl, whatever. I'm really nervous. Can you please take the lead on this? You got this. And Gray kind of just puts her hand on your back and just gently nudges you forward and coughs to herself. Good day, lady and lord.
So Gregory will kind of cast a glance back, but take a couple steps and, yes, hello, your lady and lordship, my name is Gregory Shaw. Have been brought here to kind of help assess the state that the manor here is in.
And-
Suffice to say, it's not great.
Grayla is at this point going to walk up, but and slaps a shoulder on your hand, slaps a hand on your shoulder, and says, "And there's nobody like Gregory to get this ball rolling. The best planner I know in the entire league."
And really quick, as you are saying this, Maeve, from behind everyone, so only, or at least from behind the Lord and Lady, so only Gregory and Gray would see this. Maeve looks down and looks absolutely mortified at the lack of proper decorum coming from these two staff members. Just,
Well, it's good I don't care much about decorum. It's a pleasure to meet you both.
Yes, charmed, I'm sure, yes. And he will reach out a hand to them very awkwardly to shake hands.
And Grayla reaches and weirdly like puts her hand like this, and she just kisses your hand. Thank you for your faith. And then looks at Greg like, help me.
Greg will go ahead and reach a hand out and shake your hand, but
Oh,
his hands are not clean. Like, he has been messing with this ivy, and he probably has some dirt and stuff on his fingers, and so he's shaking your hand, and then he says, whoops, and he kind of just wipes his hands on his work overalls.
He'll pull a handkerchief out of a vest pocket and kind of, rub the hands through real quick as best he can and just kind of do one of these things. And he's like, yes, we were going to be shown around and trying to understand this whole place, and perhaps you would like to join us, I assume. And
yeah, I would love to see the bones of this place and see how it's holding up, because it's anything like the outside. It's probably worse on the inside.
Could be, but we'll have. Well, I would say faith, but who the hell has faith these days? High hopes. Let's go with high hopes that we can make this work, or you can make this work, really.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Happy to accompany you.
yeah, and I definitely am very excited to get with the stock and flock and just really hit the ground running with our animal friends here. Get this up and running like we need to.
Maeve begins to show you all around the estate, starting with the outside. And she, despite the modest stipend that was provided by the League for me to maintain the grounds, there simply was not enough to keep up with everything that needed doing. And you can see, as I said, overgrown almost everywhere. Maeve has managed to keep the tall grass a little bit shorter, like right around the exterior of the manor itself, but outside of that, it has begun to dominate and take over. But while leading you outside, one of the first things that she points out to you that definitely catches your attention most, I think, Gregory, I don't know if the Lord and Lady quite appreciate how problematic it can be to have a cistern that is not functioning and is mostly empty. And so Maeve Hume leads you to where the entrance to the underground cistern is used for repairs. I was not exactly confident enough or equipped enough to check on what exactly the problem was myself, but there has not been any running water, or at least none without any real pressure for quite some time.
Well, and Gregory he's not going to get his hands dirty, but he's just kind of observing, just looking at it, and say, yeah, well, that's going to have to be one of the top of the list things. not really going to get very far in this manor without any running water. So who knows
Indeed.
what's going on there.
And
It's
once
just a gem. Just a gem. Niles. What a great choice.
Yes. Well, it was this or the small paddock down on the other end of the city. So, we'll do the best with what we have.
I'm wondering what I did to upset the family so much to send me to this place.
Well, I've heard rumors, but you'll figure it out. You're a smart lady. You'll figure it out.
the part that catches your attention, Gray, is the fact that it looks like Crowscroft Manor did once was able to house, had kennels and stables and all manner of being able to take care of at least enough animals to get by independently. But now those buildings themselves are going to need some work and upkeep before any animals can be tended to in them safely and responsibly.
And upon seeing the dry cistern, she knows she can't get any work done if she can't water these animals that come in. And she looks at the barn and just puts her hand in kennels, puts her hands on her hips, and you see a different side of her. She becomes more professional, more business oriented, and you hear, "We absolutely can't work with this. We have no water. We have no land. I mean, it's clear that we can house animals, but it all depends on what you particularly want from the estate to what kind of animals we're going to house. When you give me that information, I can move forward and we can stock out."
And
Well, horses, of course.
Of course.
Did you say a horse? Of course.
Of
That was
course.
awesome. That was probably one of my top 5 favorite things that's ever happened to me, Lord. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get to work on this. And looks to Gregory. I'm gonna have to get to work on this pretty soon. So if you could just give me the to-do list on that, I'll take care of this one.
Sure. I'll let you handle this. Sure, there's 1,000 other tasks that I'll have to do.
Yes, there will be. And she slaps her hand on your shoulder and then realizes it's a little too hard and just pat pat.
The Maeve eventually leads you inside, and as you step into the estate proper, the creaking wood beneath your feet, the extent to which this place needs work comes even more clear, because as bad as the outside was, inside's worse. And it's, again, only driven home by the absolute emptiness and coldness of the place when you step inside of it. No fires lit, dust. It looks like Maeve did some dusting to prepare for your arrival, but she's one person, and there's a lot of... You can only put so much lipstick on the pig, and she tried her best. She went through a whole stick. But as she shows you around, obviously one of the most pressing concerns is the lack of proper staffing for the estate. I would be happy to remain on to assist with anything your lord and ladyship would need, as I have over 3 decades of familiarity with the estate. But should you wish to not maintain my employ, I would be happy to direct you to other members of the League of Glove and Key, whom I'm sure would be more satisfactory.
See how well you work here, and then we'll take it from there. How's that? Call it we need like a recruitment drive. We need to get all the best PR that we can get out there, of course. It wouldn't look very good if we just came in and, dictatorially just sacked all the people who were most important, or may have even had, all the information about all of this stuff. I'm just saying, it wouldn't look good if you just went in and sacked the 30-year people.
Very generous, my lord. Now, as to other staff, I have taken the liberty of drawing up a needs list and some recommendations of individuals that I know from Crowscroft Village who would be...
I'll take that.
Yes,
I'll take that.
And she has drawn up, like, just butler, housekeeper, chauffeur, groundskeeper, lady's maid, valet, hall boy, cook, scullery maid, housemaid, a number of different things, along with 2 or 3 recommendations for each position. And as...
Sure, we can figure out something.
As you are taking a look at the note while she continues to lead you through the house, Maeve says to you, one other thing, I hesitate to even mention it, but sometimes the manor does make strange sounds. Banging, rapping, from likely pipes, I would imagine. Nothing has ever come of it, but I wanted you to be aware of it should you hear it, and not to be alarmed.
Well, shocking no one in this illustrious abode.
Yeah, it's probably some of the foundation falling apart or crumbling here and there. Probably some of the pipes going bad.
Precisely.
Could be rats in the walls.
Yeah, could be rats in the walls.
Those were precisely my thoughts. More superstitious or paranoid individuals in the village claim that the manor is haunted, but in 30 years I have never seen such a thing. And if anyone would have, it would be me.
Yes. Well, the only thing that will be haunting these walls will be us soon enough. And he kind of looks around. Are we in sort of the main ballroom back in there again?
Yeah, back at this point,
is there a ballroom? Let's go with that first.
She has shown you around the first and second floor. There is a ballroom. There's the stair hallway, which is the main entryway right after the vestibule. However, this estate is, it's not a bad building by any extent of the imagination. It's just been allowed to become dilapidated. It has a dining hall, ballroom, has a room that looks like it was entirely for the storing of long arms and firearms for hunting. The second floor has a gallery, has a greenhouse solar style room. Once fixed up, you could certainly host some grand parties here now, that's for sure, but it's going to take work.
As we sort of reach the end of all of this, he just kind of does a big twirl around and stuff like that. It's like, see, Philomena, look at this place. Look at all the things that we get with it. We spend no expense. It's fantastic. Yes. We'll have balls over here. We'll have food over here. We'll put all of our people up here, and then we'll have a band. This is fantastic. It's fantastic. It's fine. This is great. We can work with this.
As you say. I look forward to you accomplishing it all.
Yes. Well, we will rise above our station here, and we will show a few people what we are up to. And then they will be envious of what we have built. And he kind of lingers a little bit on the we.
If I may, as one of my first acts helping you to get established, may I take calling cards to the neighbors to let them know that you are present and available for socializing? Darton Hall and Amstel Manor are not far from here. They would be your closest neighbors.
I would be aware for that, but let us get the outside at least cleaned up a little bit. And he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a very, it's a linen sort of calling card with red writing and white writing on it and things like that, and hands it over to her.
Yes.
So you will know the right time to send this. Yes.
Of course. I will simply inform them that you are present but not currently prepared to host any guests at the moment. And she gives a little bow, curtsy, and holds the calling card to her chest, steps away 3 steps, and then exits, leaving the 4 of you now here in the ballroom area of Crowscroft Manor, with, as you have been told and observed yourself, quite the to-do list.
A budget for this, or am I to understand that we have no budget and we can do whatever we want when it comes to this?
I would leave that up to your discretion, your lordship. It's going to cost money regardless of what you do, whether you're trying to just repair stuff or gut it and add new stuff. I would say that our first priority needs to be that cistern, though, and I can go take a closer look at it.
I can certainly help. Did you know the moles can dig without having to see? I mean, I can help you.
Yes.
If there are potentially moles around, it would be nice to have you with me.
Yes, I have. I have quite a way with the moles. I don't, but I'll learn. I promise.
Do you have something for the rats, though?
And you see, as you speak to her, she kind of stands up a little straight, and you kind of see that her face flushes slightly. She starts fidgeting with her sleeves. Well, lady, if there are in fact rats in these walls, and she goes and she knocks on the wall, accidentally puncturing a hole, and she just kind of looks in there. I'm not seeing any rat droppings, but I will certainly, and she just gestures to the wall. Take a look at that. And I've got a way to smoke them out. They do not like cloves. And she pulls out just a cigarette and shows it to you, puts it back in her
I have
pocket.
one.
Oh, of course you do, my lady. Should you need any extra, I do carry some on my person at all times.
She pulls out a clove and waits for someone to light it for her.
And she stumbles forward. She pulls a match from her jean pockets, and she goes to light it and misses it on the first strike.
So as you miss lighting it on the first strike, there is a click, and you don't even know how she knew that you pulled out a cigarette, but Maeve is suddenly right next to you and has flicked the lighter and is extending it for you, Lady Philomena. And she gives you, Gray, a bit of a glare that you can just read the "don't touch my territory" in her eyes.
And she just swallows very audibly and just gently steps away, putting her hands in her pockets and not saying anything further.
Thank you, home.
Click. Pleasure, my lady.
And if we all are, then he brings out a very long, elaborate cigarette holder that just has like a little tiny one at the end of it, and then puts it to his lips expectantly as well.
Very industriously and happily lit for you by Maeve.
Thank you, my dear. When shall we begin interviewing some of these folks that you have on your list?
I can arrange meetings at my lord and lady's earliest convenience.
He looks back at the other 2 of you. He goes, well, they're going to need all the help that they can get, unfortunately. So, yes, let us set up do we have a table or something we can do? We can talk with people. Do we do this sort of thing?
I don't want to talk to any of these people. Let's just have them do it. We have this list. I don't know who any of these people are. That seems fine. Let her do it.
Fair enough. Go forth. Spare no expense. Get us the best that you can find. Only the best.
Thank you for your trust, my lord and lady. I will see to it immediately. Are there any...
Oh, but I should say, if I don't like any of them, it will be your fault.
Of course, my lady. Naturally. Then, may I ask, are there any particular staff positions you wish priority placed on?
I need a lady's maid.
Ladies' maid,
Absolutely.
absolutely. My lord?
Make sure there's someone, make sure there's a seamstress. A high, well thought out seamstress.
Making notes on the paper as you say this. Of course, of course. I know just the person, my lord.
Oh, and this gentleman. What was your name again? Shaw?
Gregory, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Get him some help too. I want to take a bath, and it sounds like I can't take a bath.
Oh yeah, there'll be no bath taking until we get that cistern taken care of. And
Yes, we're going to prioritize that. Get me somebody or get him someone to do him things.
I can send word to the union, Rivet and Bellows Union, straight away, and see.
Is that who you're with? Are you with the Rivet and Bellows?
I think that maybe we'd want to bring on some unbonded help. Probably do it for a little cheaper, quicker, less overhead that you have to worry about. You want it done quickly,
I like
right?
It fast. Is it going to happen fast? All right.
It'll happen faster if we don't go through the guild. I guarantee it.
I mean, I'm always up for expediency. So long as these people are good, I don't care how it gets done. So,
I have
do what you must.
I have some unbonded folks that I can bring aboard here, and we can see how quickly we can get it done. It depends on the damage.
They aren't going to rob us, though, are they?
I can guarantee you they are not going to rob you.
Okay. I mean, not
As
like
long as
there's
they
much
take.
here, but
Yeah.
As long as their dues are paid, you have nothing to worry about. And it sounds like you are sparing no expense.
no. We're going to spend every mark Niles has.
So, with Maeve Hume rushing off to send letters to and to send word to the individuals that she thinks best for the particular positions. Before we cut forward a little bit here, I want to know from all of you, of these particular staff positions or others, which 5 would you want filled first? Butler, housekeeper, groundskeeper, scullery maid, chef, valet, which would be the equivalent for you, Niles, of the lady's maid, chauffeur. What of those are the priorities, or other positions?
I would say groundskeeper.
Yes.
Yep.
Because how else are you going to feed everybody? I mean, we need to make things look pretty. We need to get stuff in the ground. We need to get moving.
Well, we can hide some of the impurities of the house with a nice outside and just, work in progress kind of thing, right? And then, of course, we need to eat. And, I don't think either of us in here would care to be in the kitchen now, would we?
I don't even know what a kitchen is.
Yes. Yes. So, yes, we'll need that and perhaps a butler to go forth with there next, I would say.
All right. So,
Lord,
Yes.
sorry to speak out of turn. I like I said, I'm here for Flock and Field. And I was just wondering. I mean, I know we're gonna work on the cistern, and I can definitely help doing that, as well as the barn and kennels. But what we want horses, clearly. But are you wanting chickens? I mean, we need to get those things here. So if you could just keep in mind what kind of feet you want underground.
We want food, is what you're asking.
Yeah. I mean, you want eggs, you want fresh chicken, you want goats. Like, what are we looking at here? You need dogs for? I mean, I just want to get the gears turning, because that's the whole reason why I'm here.
Perhaps goats could take care of your grass problem.
That would be very helpful. And also, they're really good at eating compostables as well, so we're not putting more waste on our planet than necessary.
You have
Not that
all-
that matters. Not that that matters to me or anyone else here, of course. That's a 50-year-old's problem.
You have all of the answers, and he kind of goes in there and like takes the lapels and like props them up a little bit just to puts them out and everything like that, just to kind of like
Sir.
give a little attaboy, like you got it all. Just do as you need from there on, but just know, I would like at least one peacock.
A peacock. That's very exciting. Yes, a peacock. I've totally tended peacocks before and not just dreamt about it in my dreams. I will make sure that we have the best space for your peacock and for you to show your peacock.
Fantastic. And he kind of just like big smile on his face when you say that.
And she just beams. She's standing taller than you've ever seen. She's on cloud nine.
All right. So, we actually cut now to Gray and Gregory checking out the cistern to see exactly what needs to be done because you listed that as high priority. So, let's get this ambiance here. The entryway to the maintenance section of the cistern is a wheel lock round door that is sunken into the ground outside of the estate. So you have to, and it hasn't been opened in a little bit. So it takes both of your efforts to get the first inch of it turning and then spin, unlock, and open it. And the cold air from this underground cistern comes out of it as soon as you open, along with the smell of wet concrete and water and a little bit of mold, honestly. And who goes down first? If I asked that in D&D, everyone would immediately panic.
Do you want to send me down?
No, Gregory will go first.
Good.
He is going to take off his kind of ratty jacket and throw it on the ground right outside of the opening, and then he's going to head down with probably some sort of handheld lantern or something like that, because there's no lighting down there. So he'll light up the lantern and kind of be the first to go down, giving enough illumination that you could at least see a little bit as he's moving into it.
You begin to climb down with Gray passing, holding the lantern above the entrance at first as you climb down and then passing it to you. And then Gray, you follow behind. And as your leather boots or shoes make contact down here, there's just a slight splash of water. And the lamp that you hold up, the space under here, concrete, fairly large, and is clearly built underneath the foundation of the Crowscroft Manor itself. You can see tall pillars that support the manor above. And as the two of you start to look around, it doesn't take an expert, even though you are one, Gregory, to realize that this is not going to be a simple matter of just refilling the thing, which in and of itself is going to be an issue because you're not located right next to a source of fresh water.
Yeah, so Gregory is kind of assessing it, and you can tell from the size and the mumbling and his general body language that the more and more he explores and looks around down here, the more and more it is just not looking good. I think at first you came down here with like the tiniest amount of hope still left that this wouldn't be a huge thing. Like, all right, above ground sucks. So maybe down here it won't be that bad. And when you look at first, you're like, okay, it's empty. No problem. That's going to be a pain.
but you start walking around more, looking more closely with your lamp, and you find a number of hairline cracks in the cistern, but then you find two particularly deep, jagged ones. And you are immediately certain that in its current state, you could fill this with as much water as you want, and it would slowly seep away.
Well, Gray, I don't have great news. This is a lot worse than even I was assuming it would be. I could probably do some repair work. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be a short process. And then the next issue, once we get any of that figured out, is we're going to have to get more water in here, which is going to be its own problem that we'll have to figure out.
I mean, we can mule cart it, but what's that? And it's gonna point at that. I mean, that doesn't look. I mean, I'm not an expert like you, but that doesn't look like it's good.
No.
I mean, what if we can't put water in here, can we?
Not right now. That's
okay.
We need to repair at least, I mean, at the bare minimum, these two openings.
God,
and even if we do that, it's kind of a crapshoot on whether everything else is going to hold.
Well, what if we okay, we really need to, and she puts both hands on your shoulders. We really need to make a good impression here. And she kind of lowers her voice. I really don't want to mess this up. What if we pivot? Okay. What if we build rain barrels? I mean, we could try. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we could slowly fill those and start. I mean, because we can mule cart some water from the lake. I don't know, man. I'm kind of tripping.
We're not. Yeah. It's just calm down. Just calm down.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Gregory, something comes to your mind, and this is relevant in two ways, because you mentioned hiring Unbonded to do this work, and now you realize you also are going to need a source of fresh water. You remember Trevally by the Sea. It's an unbonded enclave that is not terribly far from here and is situated along the coast. It might be a good source to solve both of those issues, is potentially finding laborers and potentially entering into some type of agreement for the fresh water.
Okay, Gray.
Yeah.
I think I've got a solution. Here. And I think with the way that the Aristos want to just get things done as quickly as possible, I think it'll solve things in the best manner that we can make it work. There's an unbonded conclave pretty close by. Not only are those unbonded workers that can come and help with the repair situation, but they're next to a body of water, so we could find a way for them to help us get the water in here once it's been figured out.
Okay, cool.
And obviously
great.
they're unbonded. I might even know a couple people that are down there, so that'll probably be the next step for me, is going down there to try and chat with them, especially knowing that we're being bankrolled by some aristocrats that are a little desperate. I think that we could definitely work something out.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Two birds, one stone, as it were. Of course, I would never throw stones at birds, just to be clear. But I think that it's really important for me to show work being done here as you leave. Is that cool? That I hit the ground running and I get started, show them we got good faith, that we're moving.
Do you know what you're doing?
Mostly. I know basic maintenance. I mean, and she puts her hand on her head. It looked like it was just going to be basic maintenance. I'll obviously just get started on just basic stuff, and then when you come back, you can help me with all the structural stuff. I think we just need to make it look like we're working, because I've heard a lot about Philomena, and I don't want to get fired on my first day.
okay, I think you might be overreacting a little bit.
Why? I never overreact.
There's always going to be other jobs. There's always going to be other jobs that we can take.
Right.
And especially with you, you've got the guild to help you out.
Yeah, but
I don't want you.
The guild, man.
Listen.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm working.
I don't want you to do more harm than good down here. If I'm being completely honest, this is standing on a razor's edge of falling apart. And if this area falls apart, the entire foundation falls apart. So.
Okay, so I won't be touching that. I'll just be touching my barn and kennels and stuff.
Yes,
I'm not
that's what I was going to say. Yes.
I'm not a well worker. I'm not a mole. I'm not a shrew. I can't do. I'm not even a prairie dog. I can't even do anything down here.
But you're great at the kennels, at the animal stuff.
Yep,
so we're just gonna pivot here. They obviously also want horses and all these other animals and stuff. So that also seems like something important to them. So I think there's a way that you could probably spin this to appease them while I am working with the unbonded negotiations. Perfect.
I really appreciate your people thing and my animal thing. So I'm definitely gonna. We got this, and she's gonna put her hand up for a congratulatory hand slap. I was looking for a little more gust. Oh, I got it! Thank you. Cool. Let's go.
So,
just really trying here.
Question for as Gray starts to climb back up, leaving the lantern with you. Question for you, Gregory. Are you trying to do any work down here right now yourself? Or are you just making note of what needs doing and waiting until more hired hands are brought on?
I mean, Gregory obviously knows, how to fix things up. This job seems out of scope for him to do in a reasonable amount of time, but he probably will work on some really small things here and there, right?
Okay.
Like maybe not patching up the big holes, but maybe some other foundational issues. Yeah.
Cleaning out the rubble that, is in there that you don't want getting into the pipes.
Basically making it easy so that once I do bring people here, they've got a clear, area to work on and a way to get there.
And Grayla, were you planning on going up, like you said, to start doing preliminary work on the stables and pens and all of that?
Yeah. So she is going to. She wants to go up and she wants to take a gander at her area, make sure that things are ready to go for when animals do arrive. She's going to do some basic repair work. Try to procure some buckets, troughs, clipping, tools. Just going to see what was left and what we will need once we go into town to make those trades and acquisitions.
Incredible. In that case, we're going to have our first two tests of the session, and that is going to be from Gregory and from Gray. Now, just a reminder for building your dice pool, it's up to you. We can consult and have a conversation about it, but we have to choose what personality trait is most relevant here and what skill is most relevant here for each one of you.
So I think for Gregory, this kind of makes sense to do obsession and craft.
Totally agree.
He is obviously very laser focused on anything repair. That's his whole thing. And his craft is doing those repairs. So that's going to be 4 dice for me. 4
dice for you. All right. Before you announce the results, Gray, what about you? What do you think?
So I have 3 that I'm kind of, so I've never done this before. So I have 3 that I'm kind of dabbling with. So observe, obviously I'm trying to look at everything, but moreover, I have ingenuity and I also have craft. So I think at this point, she's going to see what kind of repairs she can make on her own without the help of Gregory. That things that aren't like structurally,
Okay, so
just like how to make the paddock door swing or how to rig up a trough or whatever.
So what skill were you thinking was relating to that? Observe? Or craft? Or
observe and ingenuity.
Observe and ingenuity. All right.
And do I, just as a question for my dice pool, do I add my 2 numbers together?
No. You.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Your 2 skills get added together
Yes.
to determine how many dice you roll. Yes.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I thought.
For
Okay,
you,
so-
Yep.
with
Yes, thank you.
ingenuity and observe, you have a 2 and then a 3, so you get to roll a total of 5 dice. So let's roll those dice, roll them bones, and remember, unless you're invoking passion, the only results we care about are 1s and 6s. Anything that is a 2, 3, 4, or 5, just pull aside, it's not relevant. Gregory.
I got 2 brills and 1 gloom, so that's going to be a success.
That is a success.
1 brill, 1 gloom.
That's
3 fours.
still going to be a success, though, because you didn't roll more glooms than brills. So,
Broke even.
Gregory, you start doing, the first thing you do is you climb back up, you find like a little shovel and all that and bucket so you can start getting the, ground up masonry and the sediment and all that. And then you start seeing where you can just do a little bit of patchwork and getting to work down here in the cistern. While Gray, you find that a passable set of groundskeeper's tools and repair tools have been left behind here in one of the sheds. They are not the highest quality. Some of the polyresin or ceramic has broken over time, but it's enough for you to get started. And so what is the first little project up here that you figure out you can do by yourself without Gregory's help that you start getting to work on?
She knows that she needs to set the space, right? And she wants to start with a small task. She's going to rake the caked droppings out of the kennels and the paddocks. And she's going to hum while she does it. And as she's setting the stage, saging her room here, she's going to take notice of things that only require a hammer and nails. That's the best tools I work with that aren't like cleaning out horseshoes or clipping nails or.
Perfect. So,
Is now a good time to kind of remind folks that there's no metal in this world anymore?
So it's not that there's none. There is still some, but there is no more to be mined. So what is this is a great point in the world. What metal is out there as products is all there really is, and it is frequently getting tarnished and corroded and eaten away by the ruin itself. That was one of the first signs of the presence of the ruin, was metal, iron getting corroded and quote unquote drying up even while still before being mined. So yeah, most things here are built out of different materials. A clever new invention of the polyresin, ceramics are frequent, wood, all of that. So to have fine metal items is a luxury and also a sign of opulence at this point. So
And dangerous.
And dangerous
because things will fall apart, won't they?
Well, and it
Well, because metal attracts the ruin, so
Okay.
the more metal you have, the more it gravitates. So there is still some ore that is left, but there are pockets of it that have been rotted out with ruin. And if we know about ruin creates monsters, and thus many of the mining shafts are full of monsters.
So my rake is a broom and my hammer is a brick.
Or it's made
Cool,
out
gotcha.
of just other material. Just other material.
Yeah, other
like
like
we
the
have
polyresin,
a
right?
plastic rake, up in the
Yeah.
garage, and so polyresin
that.
rakes, exist,
Perfect.
and you can make very sharp ceramic things, ceramic knives or things. So
I'm just imagining, not to kind of put it in words for you, but like you're like slightly figuring out how to make like dovetail joints and things out of this,
Yeah.
like some real Japanese type woodworking where
Mhm.
you don't need nails and things like that, because one would not want to
Not worth it.
attract any monsters
No,
to your
no, no,
employer's estate. Now, would you
Absolutely not.
know?
And I would totally know that. And so these corroded nails I found would not be usable. I would just ask for some polyresin ones if I need it,
Well,
or I wait for Gregory.
Actually, so since you just added something to the world right now, as you were looking around, you found a bucket of corroded nails. And they were in the corner. And also in the corner of this shed, there was just this, it almost looks like black creeping mold right next to it. And I think as soon as you see that, you recognize that for what it is. And fortunately, it looks like it hasn't taken much hold. And one of the best things for ruin in this type of, the creeping ruin in this type of situation is fire.
So that being completely known and not okay. So when she sees this, she's kind of going to take a step back and grab her chest a little bit. She's not had many moments where she's had to be face to face with what it looks like to just be in an environment with this ruin. She works a lot. She's with the animals a lot. And it's been years. So as she sees this, oh no. Well, I don't think they should know about this. This is going to stress them out way more. And she is going to pull a match from her pocket, and essentially seal up, create with dirt just a little circle around where she's about to burn, or a little closed off area. And she's gonna light this up, and get rid of it. She needs to burn it away because that's what she's been taught to do.
And, as a true folk, the term that you frequently hear most for this is the semi-scientific entropic particles. Yeah. And so I think
the icky bits.
Icky bits. Basically this small tool shed, you look at it, you see this manifestation, these entropic particles, and very quickly make the executive decision that this shed and everything in it is not worth keeping. Not worth the risk.
I light it up and kind of walk away and just kind of look at it. God, Gregory's gonna be pissed. We need a new shed.
And the shed takes off as the camera just for a second follows the smoke rising into the air, carrying what in the Dramark knows with it, because we still understand very little about the ruin. But as that is burning, the day passes, and over the course of the day, Maeve comes to you, Lord Niles, and Lady Philomena, with frequent updates about the staffing. The first one she does very quickly is she puts a high priority on the lady's maid. And within an hour of this conversation, Lady Philomena, Maeve returns to find you, which begs the question, where would she find you?
In the most comfortable chair in the house, wherever that might be. So let's assume in the drawing room, there's surely a chaise, even if it has little tufts of cotton falling out of it. Philomena will have draped herself over it, smoked cloves.
And there was a cloth that had been draped over it to keep the dust off of it, and in an absolutely, again, below your station, can't believe you're having to do this. Where is that woman? You had to pull the cover off yourself.
How dare she make me unsheet my own furniture?
I agree. What the sheet? And and dust fills into... But you've been... I think at this point, the glass ashtray next to you has a couple... semi-finished or finished cloves, and you are just passing the time with cigarette butts, and eventually Maeve, my lady, Wonderful news.
Good. Home, yes.
Mabel Henshaw, the absolute best that lady's maid that I could find here in Crowscroft village, has agreed to come on in a probationary period. I do regret that is a rather common refrain that I've heard from a number that I have inquired with. The manor does not have the grandest reputation, and so a number of true folk are hesitant to sign on for long contracts at the moment. But I have no doubt that all of her concerns will be put to right.
Oh, it's not probationary on my opinion. Are you telling me that it is probationary on this woman's opinion of me?
My lady, did not mean to offend. No, certainly not on you, on the condition of the estate, without any water or any such things, not to mention the rumors of...
Niles' opinion. They don't like him, right?
Oh, it is certainly not you, my lady. That I can guarantee.
Yes, it's just not me. Okay.
No,
That's fine.
of course. So she will be here by the morning tomorrow. I have also heard from Edith Pargetter, the seamstress that Lord Niles requested, and she too has agreed to sign on.
Probationary, though.
Yes, my lady.
I see.
For what it's worth, I have no such considerations. I am happy to remain here at Crowscroft Manor for as long as your ladyship and lordship would have me.
Well, that's good. At least there's somebody here with decency. All
She,
right.
like, her posture gets even a little bit better when you say that. Like, you could balance books on her head and teacups on her shoulders. She is just so perfectly proud.
Well, you are heads above the rest then. All right. Well, let's let these women have a chance, and we'll see how they do.
Question. Out of character, I realized my voice was a little high-pitched there, and you could have perceived that as Maeve. Question. While all this is happening, Niles, where are you?
Niles is walking the hallways and all of the main areas and stuff. He is obsessed with trying to just get it perfect. You know, there is a vision in his head of what this place could look like and what this place could be. And he is just, having not done anything, having gotten this sight unseen, he's now going through and trying to look at all of the details and things like that, because he's got a plan in his head on what he wants when these people do get here, to start making the manor up in standard Astus Willow flair, but with a little bit of a twist.
Wonderful. About an hour after this report from Maeve, with, I would imagine, Lady Philomena still continuing to just while away the boring, tedious hours, and Lord Niles walking the halls, seeing the vision of everything that Crowscroft Manor could be, there is a ring at the door. And both of you hear the quick footfalls of Maeve Hume as she quickly goes to answer it. You can hear very brief, muffled conversation, and then the door close. She then comes to find you two. Lord Niles, Lady Philomena, I have received a calling card for you both. And she passes you a green, beautifully printed calling card with a handwritten, it's a letter, and it is handwritten on the outside, addressed to both of you. And when you crack it open, you see this green calling card, and again, handwritten, very elegant hand. The calling card seems to be from the Lady of Amstel Manor, Lady Fidelia Valgrieve. And the response reads, Lord Niles, Willow, and Lady Philomena Willow, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the area. It would be the height of bad manners if I were not to invite you to a dinner that we are hosting at Amsdell Manor this evening. We would be gladdened by your attendance, though should you be otherwise too occupied with the labors of Crowscroft Manor, we would understand. And then with a flourishing hand, signs off, along with information about the time and everything, which would be in about 3 hours that drinks would be.
Well, it seems that our presence has been requested. Perhaps we could find some allies in our dear neighbors.
I agree. I think anything to get me out of this place for an evening and maybe into something civilized.
Yes, this has a wonderful bone structure, but does leave a little bit to be desired, and I mean, I'm never one to throw down on a party or miss out at this point, so let's us go and have a good time, yes.
All right, let them know that we accept.
Of course, my lady. The two of you, or will the others be joining you?
Is that decorum?
Were they invited?
Yeah.
The invitation did welcome any members of your estate.
Well, let's do this. Let's decide to take them and tell them it is a reward for good work. And then if they make us look foolish, we'll make them regret it later.
That nervous one is very interesting too. We could be fun with that. We could have a little bit of...
We could have like true folk entertainment.
Ah, yes. I like this idea. You are a cunning one. I like you.
And so with Maeve hearing this, taking note, of course, I will inform...
No, bring the other two to me. Bring them to me.
At once. Excuses herself, and the two of you, Gregory and Gray, are quickly found, just with her shouting down into the cistern, her voice echoing, informing you that their lord and ladyship demand your attendance.
I should probably watch this burn. It's not burning anymore. I should probably watch this.
I'll look over it.
Well, pretty much done as much as I can down here anyway, so sure thing. And Gregory will kind of just do a quick wipe of his hands on a cloth, but obviously not enough to fully clean himself up as he gets out of the cistern.
As Gray and Gregory find the two of you in the estate, one of them has, water, like wet cuffs of the trousers and grime and dirt on the shirt and hands. The other has some soot and grass stains and all of that. They're a little unpresentable at the moment.
Pity.
Shaw, Gray, right? We're going to be going to Amstel with us today. You can't look like you. That would be embarrassing. So, do we have a phone around here? Is there some sort of phone I can use? Okay, so I'm going to call in for my stylist and wardrobe couturier, and I am going to fix this, whatever this is.
Oh, I left my blazer in the backyard. I could probably just throw that on.
No, it's just grass. I don't want it on your body. So let me take care of this, and that would be, I'm going to use a dot on, for portfolio.
There it is.
Please be prepared, and we will be leaving in just a few hours from now. and you will wear what I tell you to wear.
Yes, ma'am. And she like salutes you weirdly and awkwardly.
If there's drinks and food in it, I guess who am I to
yes,
say no?
we get to eat. Isn't that exciting?
I didn't know there would be food.
All right, well, yeah, I'll let you dress me up, sure.
I am honored to be dressed by the best.
And so, with preparations being made to get two of you presentable and another two of you very presentable, we're going to take our first little break here so people can refill their drinks, go to the bathroom, do all of that, and we will pick up seeing how things go between the fledgling Astus Willows and the Valgreaves. We will be back here in about 10 minutes or so. See you soon. We are back. When we pick up just about 2 hours or so later, giving you an hour to make the trek to your neighbor's estate via vehicles. Oh, I would love to pick up with, as all four of you are being chauffeured, a car had been sent over by the Valgreaves for you, which, in and of itself, is an interesting social decision on their part, since you all didn't request it. And there are certain implications that are carried within that executive decision from Lady Fidelia to send that without you all even having to ask for one. So she's already formed certain opinions of you, clearly. But with the four of you here in the back of this vehicle, Lady Philomena, you said that you were acquiring clothes to make Gray and Gregory a little bit more presentable. So I would love for you to describe how each one of them is now dressed.
Let's start then with both of them together, because what we have done is we have also put them in the Astus Willow purple and black. So they now do not have their own colors. They are colored like us. And for Gregory, we put him in a little bit of a livery. So it is a bit of an Astus Willow livery. I'm sure Gregory is having lots of feelings about this because it is looking way too true folky. But the cut of the suit is impeccable. It's beautiful. It's black. It's sleek. It's nice. It's slim cut. He's looking hot. Everything is great. He's even got some sort of interesting, I don't know if a flat cap really works for this, but maybe it does. Maybe we've upgraded the fabric of his flat cap.
There
and
you
so
go.
he's looking pretty good. Like, the only thing that he has to sort of eat dirt on is that there is this touch of Astus Willow that suggests his former bonded status that he may not appreciate. Gray, on the other hand, is in a beautiful lavender dress. It is not made of delicate material. It's sturdier material, more like a wool. But the best part of her outfit is this little half cape that comes around. And so, yes. So if she's seen spinning around, but it's she also has a bit of a hat with just like a little simple single feather coming out of it. Let's make it a crow or a raven's feather or something like that. But very minimally designed as far as flair, because how dare they look better than us? But there is definitely class and style.
And speaking of not looking better than you two, let's have you continue, Lady Philomena. How are you dressed for the evening?
So let's go with like a jewel toned purple. and we'll add some pearls to it. This does have delicate material. This does have some silks. This has some lace trims. It's very stylish and funeral parlor chic land. So think of maybe something like a high lace collar and some interesting puff sleeves, but it is just a little old, but like hot grandma old. And just like it's just like a little bit like we just squeaked into the Edwardian era rather than Victorian, but it has a little bit of that like what was, something in your grandmother's closet that's amazing now because of it. That's the vibe we're going for.
Love it.
Niles?
Last but not least.
He's very, very flowy, with a long black. He's with a long black coat over top of another coat and vest, with a purple with these kind of filigree sort of shirt similar to the one that I'm wearing here, with like a fleur-de-lis kind of like pattern overside of it. So you've got the purple and dark color sort of combination that everybody has with it. Now he's done the full-on hair though, and we've got like hair flowing in the wind, but with one sort of skunk stripe down the front of it. So it's of course it's all black except for the gray portion in the front. And he's got his cane with him at this point as well. So he's very done up well with a little bit. He's kept the pinstripe, sort of tight cut pants and things like that going into the black boots, but he's cleaned those up a bit. And put on maybe a different pair of black boots, out of the 40 he may own at this point. And pretty well put together and things like that, but he does still have several bits of sort of filigree that look metal-ish in a way to kind of accentuate certain parts of it. Very regal
Very
in
cool.
that sort of way.
Very cool. Love all of those descriptions. So, with the four of you looking very spiffy, some a little bit spiffier than others, the Dramark isn't always fair when it comes to that. In fact, it's very not fair. But as you begin to approach, and you can see out of the front windshield and out of the side windows, you can see Amsdell. And it is a gorgeous country estate. Probably around 5,000 acres here. You drive past extensive fields where cattle are grazing. There are beautiful woodlands around. And when you see this, Niles, I think there's a part of you that can't help but see what Crowscroft Manor could be with the right tending to. And as the car pulls up and the chauffeur gets out and opens the door for you, you see, as you step out, there are a lot of staff that work here. And you see groundskeepers, those who tend the animals. There's one individual walking by about 300 feet away as you step out, has what looks like a large vulture perched on his forearm and is just making his way back to an aviary, supposedly. There is a well-dressed man who is smoking a pipe, and as the car pulls up and the door is opened, he takes the pipe and he knocks it on a nearby piece of masonry to get the remaining tobacco out and tucks it away and straightens his attire. And as you all step out, the older man, maybe a butler by the looks of it, gives a crisp bow to you all as you step out.
Lord Niles Willow, Lady Philomena Willow, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Amstel. And may I know the names of your guests so I may announce them properly?
Yes, this is Mr. Gregory Shaw. To my right here, and then to my left, this is Miss Grayla Venstar.
Wonderful. Well, if you will follow me, I will announce you.
And as he says this, you all hear the distant shot of a rifle or a shotgun. He begins to lead you around the estate, and this place is beautiful. There are creatures that, as he leads you, there are animals wandering around this estate, most of them freely roaming, and far closer to the staff than you would ever expect. Deer with huge antlers that are just walking mere feet away from a groundskeeper who is tending to a nearby garden bed. You can hear the very distinctive, distant caw of a peacock.
The scream is undeniable.
Yours or the peacock's? Yeah, peacocks do make a very distinctive sound. And as he continues to lead you, you once again hear this time closer, and you can hear the soft, gentle clapping of a few gloved hands as you come around to the rear of the estate. There is a beautiful, expansive concrete and masonry back veranda, but where the butler is leading you is out about 500 feet away in beautifully tended open field where there are several comfortable chairs that have been set out here, tables with glasses and tea and all of that here. And there is one individual who is, like, as you come around and the applause is continuing, lowering a shotgun and draping it into the crook of his arm as he cracks it and pulls the shells out. A gentleman of not small stature, either horizontally or vertically, as his waistcoat is bulging a little bit at his girth, and he turns and gives a little bit of a little half-hearted gesture of a bow or salute. And the three who are applauding most are three younger women who are, "Oh, Father, that was a wonderful shot, wonderful!" There are also, in addition to the man and these three applauding daughters, there is one other figure out here that you see at the moment. It's a young woman. She's dressed in earthy tones, albeit elegantly. Beautiful browns and rich greens, and has a large hat on that has several, like close to 9 or 10 fresh flowers that have been set atop it as decoration. And she has, as she turns to your approach, she has a golden cat, a gold-furred cat just sleeping in her arms that she's stroking as she turns at your approach. The butler introduces the four of you in order of importance that he determined himself, and then,
if I may introduce Rex Granville Galdepark. And the man, pleasure. And may I introduce my daughters, Imogen, Clara, and Violet, apples of my eye, every one of them.
And they give two of them, or one of them gives a very polite bow, or a very polite curtsy. The other two of them kind of like squish together a little bit and start to whisper to one another, and you see their eyes just falling exclusively on Gregory and Gray in this situation. Okay, really bringing the hell. And then, girls?
I can't hear you, Rachel.
Can't hear you, Rachel.
I forgot I muted. I interrupted them. I said, "Oh, I didn't hear you, ladies. What did you say?"
And Rex turns and cocks an eyebrow. Imogen, Violet, were you saying something?
No, Father.
Yes, I think I heard them, but there was something with the animals.
I actually, because you're being a little Barbie here. And I don't mean Barbie as in the toy, like Barbs. I would love a roll right now.
I was going to say, I'm ready to roll on this one.
Just to see exactly how detrimental you are here. So, in this little social, quote unquote, social conflict
I'm going to
moment,
go with loyalty, because they're my people. Right? And I'm going to go with express, because we're talking about something.
Okay, let's absolutely do that. So how many total dice is that? How many total dice is that do you get to roll?
Oh, 5.
5. Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay.
5. And I have got 2 brills, no glooms.
Whoo! So, big success. Not quite a triumph, but big success. So, what result here was Lady Philomena looking for in her comments? Was she looking to shame them? Was she looking to get the truth out of them? What was she wanting to achieve?
She's trying to set them up so that if they are actually being sincere and sort of nice, because they're like, oh, look how nice they are, they look, then I was hoping that they would tell the truth. But if they were like, what are true folk doing here? And then they try to cover up. I'm trying to suss out exactly what they're trying to do.
Okay, so you were trying to just get the true answer out of them. And so with a 2 brill success there, when they at first say, nothing, Father.
Girls, don't make a poor first impression.
Apologies, Father. One of them steps forward meekly and gives another small curtsy. I was simply surprised at the generosity of our new neighbors to include members of their staff in their dining plans. So modern.
Isn't it quite progressive?
Indeed. And as this little exchange is happening here, the voice of the butler can be heard once again.
May I introduce Lady Fidelia Valgrieve, 5th Countess of Amstel.
And a woman who, to describe her as appearing ancient, would be a kindness to her. The fact that she is still held together is honestly shocking. But dressed fairly similarly to the younger woman who was introduced as Tessa Valgrieve, the other one with the large flowery hat. This older woman has an even larger hat with fewer flowers on it, but bigger ones. And she is dressed in a light green dress that comes up to the neck and frills out, has these green circular earrings on lace that puffs out. And she, walking alongside of her, looks like one of the groundskeepers. And even as she's being introduced by the butler, she's not paying attention to any of you right now. She's finishing talking to the groundskeeper. So ensure that it is finished in proper order. Thank you. And he goes scuttering off. Oh, did I miss my introduction? And she steps forward. You must be Lady Philomena. Pleasure to have you at our estate. Thank you for honoring us.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. We are just delighted to be here.
And, Lord Niles, I have heard good things about you.
Oh, but of course, I am chuffed to believe that someone of your stature knows of me and knows of our wonderful, wonderful estate that we are building just near to you. We will be neighbors. How wonderful will that be?
Indeed. Well, drinks. She snaps her fingers a few times and, seemingly out of thin air, a complement of 3 serving staff arrive and in very crisp and organized, almost staged fashion begin to set drinks down at the table for anyone who wishes them. White wine, champagne, pre-dinner drinks. As Rex grabs a cigar and clips it, holds it up to his mouth, waits for about 4 seconds, and then finally one of the serving staff sets down the tray that they were carrying, pulls out a match, and lights the cigar. Big puffs.
Any of you sportsmen?
Reloads and unbreaks the shotgun.
Grayla tries not to flinch, but you can see there's rigidity in her body.
Are you a hunter then, sir?
Oh, in my youth, yes, but no more. Now, I hunt the ones that don't fly or run too far. Pull! Shink!
And a clay disc gets launched from a nearby machine, and he fires, breaks it midair. Again, oh, Father, wonderful shot, fantastic shot, Father.
I'll lean over to Philomena, and I go, well, I'm glad he decided to show off for a bit, because I thought he was talking about hunting humans for a moment.
Yes, this episode is turning into the most dangerous game.
Most dangerous game.
Mm-hmm.
I love that short story.
It's a classic.
You really shouldn't talk about our father that way, though. I mean, you understand he was doing it as an experiment.
True, but it's still a bit barbaric, don't you think? I mean, it's also...
The 3 daughters hearing this
Awesome.
are just like looking at you like slack-jawed.
I'll raise a
You
glass.
wouldn't get on our bad
put it
side,
over
do
there.
you?
I'll give him a little wink as I decide to take a little sip of the wine.
This conversation occurs, and Lady Fidelia Valgrieve. Girls, you must learn that one of the primary purposes of these dinner engagements is social posturing. And they look at her, and there's just another as Rex lands another.
Gregory is grabbing a glass of wine. Something that he doesn't normally get to enjoy, so he is definitely taking advantage of it.
Definitely going to follow suit and walk with Gregory. Gregory, did you know that swans can eat a surprisingly larger amount than their body mass? And gestures to the food table. We should be swans.
I like the sound of that, actually. It's honestly, although the attire could use a bit of an improvement, and dealing with aristocrats is its own nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have some food and wine to indulge myself in, especially with the work that we have ahead of us.
And these fancy new threads you've got. I mean, look at us. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous is a word for it.
What have we gotten ourselves into? And
The
stuffs
most
her face.
finest establishments around here, of course. As he kind of settles up right behind them and just sort of like peeps up from behind like he was not even there at first.
My lord. What an estate. I feel we can learn plenty. Did you hear the call of that peacock? Roughly about 20 or 30 years of age, male. And did you see the peafowl when we came in? We can get some connections here.
Yes, it'd be a shame if that peacock went missing now, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, as long as you find out what diet first, that would be really great. We don't want to change very suddenly or... Anyway.
As this conversation is happening with the three of you, Niles, you notice that off a small distance, not too far, but out of earshot, the three Granville Galdepark daughters have once again clumped together a little bit, and all three of them are looking right at you. And as you glance over and catch their eyes, they look away and towards each other and titter to one another. And as there's a break in your conversation, the three of them as a unit make their way over to you, Niles. And one of them, the one who was introduced as Imogen, Lord Niles, I hear that you and the Lady Philomena have recently taken over possession of the Crowscroft Manor. Am I correct? That is quite an endeavor. You must be very well connected.
That we are, yes, and it's an undertaking, but it's always worth the work for the brilliance that we will bring to the estate once again. It will be refurbished and made even better than it was before, of course.
And she pulls in a little bit closer to you and says, I would simply love to hear what plans you have for the estate. And
yes, my dear.
As you respond, like, as she pulled up close to you, didn't quite stop walking. She pulled up next to you and slowly continued walking, which subconsciously made you start to walk next to her so that you could maintain conversation, while the other two daughters fell back. And so the two of you now find yourselves slightly walking alone.
I would like to do a roll on this to kind of sense intent a little bit here, if that's okay.
So I believe that would be intuit. No, gain insights. So that could be up to intuit. That could be observe.
I've got more in observe.
Okay, and what personality trait do you think is most relevant to this moment for Niles?
Probably sensitivity. Maybe.
Makes sense to me. Let's make that roll.
Yeah, surroundings and everything like that. So, that's 3. Let's use these 3 dice.
This system is so fun and so natural.
I was just about to say, it feels very natural.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no brills or glooms.
Oh, so just a net nothing. She's a little difficult to read in this moment, mostly because she isn't doing most of the talking. And she has so far simply asked you, but she does seem very interested in hearing about your plans for the estate.
Okay. He's gonna lean into his audacity and just start being... He's gonna start, like, walking off with her and giving a lot of exposition about his plans and his grand ideas. He's gonna try to impress her.
You start to walk, and as the two of you get to the point where you would have to curve around and a little out of sight,
You hear, Imogen? Not without a chaperone.
"Oh, Father! We're only going over here. He's simply telling me about... Lord Niles is simply sharing with me his ingenious ideas for the renovation of Crowscroft Manor.
Well and good. But you both can do so right here, I should think, yes?
And she looks at you. Fathers.
Yes, I mean, they are protective and for good reason, but and how old are the 3 daughters again? I forget.
Marriageable age?
Okay.
Legal?
Well, young enough to, or old enough to be married, young enough that the odds of them having already been married is low.
Right. So he's just
19
going to
to
kind
23, around that era.
Yeah. So he's just going to kind of hold up his glass to the father and kind of give a little bit of a look of like, it's quite all right, old man. It's quite all right. We'll just be right here. We're just talking. We're just having a good time. This is a beautiful place you have here. She's showing me around.
You call him old man, and there's the immediate sound of the breaking shotgun. As he pulls the shells out and pops new ones in.
Missing that entire social cue. Not even worried about it.
And Lady Fidelia Valgrieve approaches you, Lady Philomena.
Spice.
And says, Lady Philomena, you and I have no need of chaperones.
No, not at all.
Walk with me.
Of course.
And she puts out an arm for you.
And Philomena will take that elbow.
The two of you interlace arms. She places a withered, nigh skeletal hand on top of your own and pats it as the two of you shuffle off just a little distance from here. So, tell me, what brought the two of you, 4 of you, here to Crowscroft Manor?
The vision of my ingenious brother. He saw in it so much potential and just knew that we had to be part of the valley, and plus to be neighbors of you and the Granville Galda Parks. I mean, what an honor just to be among you.
I want to know, and this is a question first for you in general, before we even need to know if a roll needs to be made here. Are you telling the truth?
It's not.
Okay. Then we're definitely going to need a roll for that.
Yeah, we'll do another loyalty plus express.
Okay.
Like,
Do you
this is called talking sheet for the family.
Do you think this would be... Oh, yeah, that totally works. I love that. Loyalty and express. That's perfect.
Bootlicking.
Oh, let's see. What did was that nothing? Oh, that was nothing. I got nothings across the board. I got a whole board of nothing.
Another lot of nothing. And
yeah.
So you say this. Oh, indeed. Well, so I knew the previous occupant of Crowscroft Manor, though it has been some time since I last laid eyes on her. Did Lord Niles and yourself propose to House Astis Willow that you become its new overseers, or was it their idea for you?
Oh, I believe that we understood that the property became available, perhaps through a broker, perhaps through the family. I'm actually not quite sure. I'm not one for details like that. We leave that to our people. But Niles did take advantage of the opportunity when it was presented.
Well, I wish the two of you more luck than Countess Valeska. She never had it in her for the rough-and-tumble nature of country life. Oh, and she stops for a second. I did not even compliment your fashion sense. This dress is stunning. Did you make it yourself? I love that question. Totally innocuous in certain settings, and then in others, like, you bitch.
I did with my money.
No, I didn't. It's actually part of a vintage collection that was sort of reinvigorated for the occasion. I thought with as old as you are, you might appreciate it.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna do some barbs between the two of you here. All
My
right.
body's on fire right now.
So
Really?
she has that. Okay. So I would love you to roll whatever you would like here for your rejoinder, and then I'll have you roll to resist hers after she sasses back.
Go ahead with defiance plus expense.
Yeah, that seems right.
So that's going to be a 4 for me. So I'm going to go ahead and roll
Let's
this.
go.
Oh, well, that's a slam dunk. That was 3 brills right there.
Woo! Yeah.
Wait.
So that is that hurts.
So yes, but the you also want me to roll defense.
So first,
right?
well, let me role play it out first. How she responds. So you say that. Indeed. Well, leave it to the youth to reinvigorate that which was discarded so long ago. And so now I would love you to roll to resist for this. And so that is, if memory serves, because this is our first resist, that is just a single, you don't combine skill and personality, correct?
No, and it's gosh, you even have to remind me. I think is it just personality? Because it's actually
just personality.
Yeah, it's 'cause
Yep.
it's
If it were
headed towards
physical,
distress
it would
and
just
not
be skill.
vitality.
And if it's social, it's just personality.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep going with defiance here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got one brill and a nothing. So I mitigate one of her.
Yep. So you will take one more from her, one distress, but you dealt 3 back to her. And so with that final comment, she seems content to take her losses.
She's satisfied to get the last word.
Mhm,
That's fine.
mhm.
Fashion always comes around. So excited about it.
And then she turns back towards the group with you again, hand still on top of yours, but it's gone from a little like that comforting grandmotherly hand to keeping you there as she turns and having a little bit of physical control over you in that moment, and turns you back to face the group. It is always wonderful to see such varied folk come together to enjoy drinks and an evening in what can still sometimes feel like such dark times. These 2 that you brought along with you, have they been with your family long?
Yes, they have. In fact, they have been such wonderful helpers to us. We thought it was only good to have you understand what good help looks like.
Well, I think we are doing quite well on that front, but if, my lady, if you have any connections that you would recommend, I would be happy to listen.
Absolutely. And likewise, please, we would be happy to accept any recommendations that you might have.
Oh, I'm sure. And the camera will cut to Gregory and Gray, who the other 2, one sec, let me just get this. The other 2 daughters, after Imogen scurried off with Lord Niles, have approached the 2 of you. And one of them, the one who was introduced as Clara, She approaches you and, with absolute lack of decorum, "So, what should we address you to as?"
Gregory is like in the middle of stuffing like an hors d'oeuvre in his mouth. Oh, well, you could probably do sir and madam. It'll be fine.
I answered anything, so whatever works.
The other, Violet, who has a bit of auburn hair curls going down past her shoulders, but pinned back a little bit underneath the hat that she's wearing. "Is this your first time on an estate such as this?"
Yeah, it's pretty big. Probably the biggest estate that I've seen.
Same. I've been here a couple times before. Only to see some tended fowl that you guys have here. Beautiful collection, by the way. Oh my gosh, just beautiful work, reputation, huge. But it is the biggest estate I've personally ever seen.
And as this conversation is happening, the two ladies who had been off return just a little bit generally to the area so that everyone is still within earshot of one another. And Lady Tessa Valgrieve, the one holding the cat, from the seat where she has returned and is stroking the cat, says, "Oh, if you think that this estate is something, you should see the Granville estate nearby. As a matter of fact, if memory serves, are not the Granville Galderparks throwing a ball soon at Darton Hall?"
I totally know that.
And the two daughters excitedly start to chat about the ball, and Lady Tessa pitches her voice to speak over them slightly and says, "Lord Granville, will our new neighbors be receiving invitations to the ball soon?" He had already shouted pull, and the skeet, the clay disc, just goes flying as he just lowers the gun for a second and thinks to himself and then turns around.
We have only just met. I don't even know if our neighbors would be interested in such an affair."
We can all hear that, you said?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not an us thing.
Okay.
Do you all say anything in response?
We would love to come.
"Oh, Father, yes, you simply must invite them."
Oh, I'm sure. Lady Fidelia, when was dinner to be served?
And still from right next to you, she exchanges, side glance with you, Philomena, and just shakes her head ever so slightly. "Well, naturally, it's served whenever I wish it. Are you hungry, Lord Galderpark?" And he once again slaps his hefty stomach.
"When am I not? Enough with this fresh air nonsense. I've grown bored of target shooting. Let's eat something."
And begins to walk into the estate, with the two daughters following behind and Imogen lingering longer next to you, Lord Niles.
He looks over to it and just kind of goes, "Would I have the pleasure of your acquaintance at the table, madame?"
Oh. And she puts her hand atop yours as the two of you walk into the estate side by side.
Fantastic.
"Come, my dear." As she pats your hand, Lady Philomena, "let's get out of this heat and get something warm in our stomachs. Come now. Do you have any favorite wines? We have an extensive cellar."
in particular. I would absolutely take your recommendation on what would be the best.
Pleasure would be mine. Come, come.
Just to ask for you, Ethan, as the GM, can Philomena and I be sat next to each other, and then are the two people that bring us in on either side of us?
Absolutely, 100%. With only a few exceptions, the seating is fairly open. The lady of the house and her daughter, or granddaughter in all honesty, would be the ones who are seated closest to the head of the table, along with Lord Rex Granville Galdapark. But after that, it's kind of open seating, wherever you are comfortable. There is the tradition of usually man, woman, so that that's, just protocol. Who cares about that?
When we go to sit down and stuff like that, I quietly sort of lean over to Philomena and just kind of go, well, it does appear that we've both got some broads to sit next to tonight. Mine's just, not a lich.
I wish I could give you inspiration for that.
Well, there's nothing like spending an evening with the undead. So.
Jesus. Brutal. The head butler escorts all of you into the dining hall, which inside Crowscroft Manor, the outside of the estate, gorgeous, obviously. And while it is a very different layout than... I'm sorry, I said Crowscroft. The inside of Amsdell. The outside is gorgeous, but it's differently situated than Crowscroft Manor, so it's a different situation. But once you get inside, Lord Niles and Lady Philomena, again, the realization of, this is what we could have, hits you. The interior is impressive. Marble tile floors, beautifully gleaming and polished, warm lighting everywhere, fur rugs line the floors, tapestries on the walls. It is warm and inviting and fully staffed, as there are, everywhere you look inside, someone is tending to something to make sure that the other people like you don't have to do any of that tending. And so as you are escorted down the long marble halls where there are several fireplaces in this single hallway, all lit, and as you walk by, members of the staff give you bows and curtsies, but eventually you are shown into the expansive dining hall. You all are seated, and I would love to know who each one of you would, if you could pick one person from the group, from the dinner party, to be seated next to, who would it be? Let's start with Lord Niles, because I think I know your answer, but I would love to know everyone else's.
Stick to the woman that I've been with for the moment, and, we'll see where this develops.
Got it. Lady Philomena, while one of your choices may have been made for you, who would you choose?
Am I sitting next to Niles? Am I on the other side of Niles? That's what we're doing?
You all can be seated where you would like to.
You can do whatever. I could also whisper that to you as we're sort of walking in, just between us,
So I think Philomena's going to try. So priority 1, sit next to Niles.
Got
it. Priority 2, sit next to Niles on one side and Rex on the other.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to get between Niles and Granville Galdapark here with his humps. So.
And Rex Galdapark, after heading inside, has clearly changed out of his sportswear, which, for the record, is, vest, still long shirt, cap, trousers, boots. and has changed into his dinner attire. And this man seems like someone who likes to wear his wealth. Whether it's because he has an appreciation for fine things or because he knows that others do, who knows? But the result is the same, as he has numerous rings on, ceramic rings. The cut and quality of his suit is impeccable. That suit jacket alone likely cost what you are going to pay your full staff complement for a month. And you can tell just by the way it is cut, by the gleam of the fabric. It is luxurious. And so as you begin to work your way into finding a seat in between these two, Lady Fidelia does whisper into your ear, "Careful, darling, he is a terrible drunk."
Good to know.
And then goes and takes her seat as well. So what about Gray and Gregory? If you had to pick someone here to be seated next to it, could be one of your own party members, but just someone at the dinner party, who would you choose to be seated next to?
As we approach the table and see people starting to sit down, Grail is smart enough to recognize that there's some sort of song and dance happening right now, and she is not privy to the sheet music. And so she immediately grasps Gregory's arm. Gregory, where are we supposed to sit? Is it like a boy girl thing? Is it like a family on one side, other family on the other? No, because they're mixed up. What do I do?
I know just about as much as you do. Let's just sit right. Let's just sit here.
The head
picks out 2 chairs.
The head butler, as you two are doing this, just gives a and like a little, the tiniest tilt of his head to indicate where you should sit.
Go down.
Good man. We'll kind of shuffle over there. I do think that. So Gray and Gregory are right next to each other. I would personally think it's funny to have one of the other daughters sit next to me, just by circumstance, unfortunately for them.
Okay. Love it. So, you all are seated, and after you are, a small complement of footmen enter the dining hall as soon as the lady of the house herself is seated. Like, the moment the cloth of her dress hits the seat, several doors in the dining room open simultaneously, and with nearly mechanical, choreographed precision, the footmen come out and place in front of each one of you a bowl of a creamy-looking soup. And, by the way, Gregory, you are, as you said, seated next to one of the daughters, in particular Clara, who seems like she is doing everything in her power to not show the feelings she has about that. And so as the soup is set down and the... hold on, before I say it. The tinkling of glasses, of silverware and plateware begins to fill the hall. Clara is the first to break the silence as she addresses you, Gregory, without looking at you. She is looking at her soup and is in the process of getting herself a dainty spoonful and says, "So, Mr. Shaw, where do you come from originally?"
Oh, well, I used to reside in Grandhurst, actually. That feels like a lifetime ago now.
Truly? And how are you finding Crowscroft in your time there? I imagine
Well,
all of this pomp and circumstance must be quite foreign to you.
You could say that. But yes, Crowscroft is certainly has a lot of work to be done. I have faith in the in Niles and Philomena, though. They have a good vision for it. I'm happy to go along with what they've described. I will say that the wine that you all have offered here is quite generous. Actually, I've already finished my glass. Do I just wave a waiter down to get more, or?
There is, as you say that, there is already someone next to you who begins to fill your wine glass with several sets of eyes observing that you've already finished your first glass of wine, and the first course has barely started. And that definitely gets you clock that being clocked. And as you mentioned the quality of the wine, Lady, why do I keep spacing on her name right now? Because it's so close to Philomena. Fidelia, they both start with F.
Sorry.
Or start with the F sound.
How dare you apologize?
No. Your name was even more beautiful. But as you compliment the quality of the wine, and she says, hold on, let me pull this up really quick. There we go. Well, yes, we are not House Dara. I don't know if you heard, but at their most recent dinner party, they served a Malbec with the fish course of these upstart families.
Gregory is nodding as if he knows that is a terrible thing. He's kind of trying to walk two worlds right now, because Gregory really does not like having to hold back what he actually wants to say, but he realizes, and obviously his time as a true folk, in the past, he kind of knows some of the social cues here, so he's just kind of nodding along with it. That is terrible. Well, I'm glad that you all know how to pair the wine appropriately, and he'll start drinking his second glass down.
Well, of course, you know House Valgrieve is one of the oldest houses in the Dramark. We would not be caught dead serving the wrong wine. And the butler, the head butler, who peeks his head and steps in here every now and then to make sure all the footmen are doing everything proper, was here at the moment, and the head butler is also in charge of the wine selection at the estate. And so those of you who would be looking at the lady's word, he puffs up with a little bit of pride. Lord Niles, Mr. Shaw mentioned your vision for Crowscroft Manor. Please, tell us, what should we expect from our neighbor estate in the future now that it falls into proper hands?
A wonderful and opulent estate that is worthy of being neighbors with this place. Only the best, and that we can find, and that we can create, and that we can make, will be there. We will have grand balls and gestures, good afternoons, horse racing even. Everybody loves a good horse race, right?
Violet
Looks around.
chimes in. That all sounds quite expensive.
House Astus Willow is, they spare no expense.
So, the Astus Willow is supporting your endeavor, funding the restoration of Crowscroft Manor, then?
But of course, they trust Lady Philomena and I to bring prominence to the family and to do well by all of their investments. And Lord knows that we must we must hit a certain bar here in society. You all have done such an amazing job setting it so high that, we must do what we must. We must be part of everything here. And at the end of the day, we wouldn't want to let you down now, would we?
And she gives a small nod over her wine glass as she takes a sip. And the younger Lady Valgrive, Tessa, takes the opportunity to chime in for the first time in dinner. I have to remember your last name really quick because I haven't had to use it yet. There it is. Miss Venstar, I hear that you have quite the aptitude with animals.
Why, thank you so much for noticing. I've worked most of my life with animals of varying states, seen many different ways to breed and care. I've been lucky enough to know many hearts and feed many. Your estate, of course, is the highest in my schooling. Your animal husbandry, falconry even, goes back many, many years. You're very esteemed. Your staff is very well known. Congratulations.
Well, what animals would you say are your specialty? Are you horses? Birds?
Well, I haven't met a friend that I haven't gotten along with, really. Actually, there was a porcupine once, but that was my fault entirely. But
Prickly
horses,
fellows.
absolutely and reactive, truly, and you don't want to get on their bad side. Let me tell you.
She, Tessa Valgrive, says, "Oh, I understand quite well," and actually, takes her left sleeve and, shocking and scandalously, pulls it up just slightly above her wrist, and you can see a small scar there. When I was but a child, we also had a porcupine, and you're quite right, reactive indeed. Learned my lesson once.
Well, I'm glad it was properly tended to. Those could be nasty bites. I have several of my own. And to answer your question, yes, horses, goats. I do love a chicken and a dog, of course. Cats and I don't generally get along, but
You work with hounds, then?
I have.
Lady Fidelia
Yes.
chimes in. Well, and she looks at Lord Niles and Lady Philomena. Make sure you take good care of that one, or we might try to steal her away from you.
You honor my name.
And at that resounding approval line from you, the young Clara, who was seated in between Gregory and Gray, shifts attention to you, Gray.
Starts to sweat.
And begins to ask you a little bit more about yourself.
Only animal puns.
Dinner continues. There is after the soup course, there is a course of delicious, succulent quail that is served alongside a platter of perfectly prepared and seasoned vegetables. After the dishes are concluded, but before they get concluded, during these courses, is there anything in particular anyone would like to do while you all are at dinner? Yeah.
Just slightly lean over. Does anyone know whether or not it was cow's cream or goat's cream in the soup? Fantastic. That's it.
As you ask this, Lady Fidelia simply looks to the head butler, who gives a nod, excuses himself, and comes back about 30 seconds later.
It was cow milk, milady.
Oh, thank you. And she makes a mental note to stock cows over goats.
Cow milk or whatever it was, that was damn delicious.
Damn delicious. Yeah.
And as Rex has ravenously finished with properly. He didn't do so impolitely, but he left nothing on his plate. And as he again pats his stomach a little bit, would anyone care to, Lady Fidelia, was there going to be dessert provided? And she looks aghast at the question and says, well, coffee and after-dinner snacks along with smoke were to be provided in the parlor for those who wished, Lord Galderpark.
Wonderful!
And begins to stand up from the table, just causing his daughters to look at each other a little nervously, seeing this violation of proper protocol here. And Lady Fidelia, well, I suppose that concludes dinner. Coffee and cigars in the study for any who wish.
Yeah, Lady Philomena is going to stand up with as much gusto as Rex does. It's like, yes, let's go for a smoke and some snacks.
The evening then shifts from the dining room into a study parlor space. There are very high quality hand rolled cigars that are provided, freshly brewed coffee, little dessert biscuits as well, and there is also a card table here in the study, in the parlor space, for any who wish to participate. As Rex grabs another fresh cigar, clips it, lights it himself this time because you're in the parlor, you do it yourself. And he goes over to the card table and grabs one of the decks of cards and begins shuffling it.
Anyone for some after-dinner entertainment?
Well, of course, you read my mind. Let us play.
I'll join in too.
His cheeks, by the way, are already fairly rosy, because he did not hold back on the pre-dinner cocktails, and there is port that is being served here that, though there are port glasses, which, are yay big, he has most scandalously poured it into closer to a wine glass, and whenever one of you gives a glance at that decision,
big men need big glasses.
And just fills it with this heavy, rich dessert wine.
Gregory will follow suit and also fill up a glass full of the wine as well, or the port. I'm always happy to play a game.
Can we tell how many drinks Gregory has had by now? Should we be concerned yet?
Gregory's cheeks are also definitely rosy
Okay.
red. Yeah. He's getting a little slurred in his speech. He's not acting a total fool, but you can tell his mental faculties are wavering a little bit.
Okay.
As Lady Fidelia enters the parlor, she has walking next to her, a large gray and black spotted Great Dane that walks right alongside her. And she had inside utilized a cane while she was walking, a very decorative, beautiful one. But with this Great Dane next to her, she just rests her hand on not quite a saddle or a collar, but something that's been devised to allow her to hold on and use the dog as essentially a guide dog to stabilize herself as she walks in. Well, Lord Galderpark, I am glad to see you did not wait on me before cracking into my 40-year-old port.
Damn good, too.
And takes a drink and just... the ladies, the daughters, the daughters have actually, at this point, excused themselves and have returned to their own estate. But Lady Fidelia and Tessa are present, though don't participate in the gambling. So my question to you all, as the evening bends towards drink and leisure and the more open conversation that can sometimes happen with enough libations and pleasant company, is there anything else anyone is wishing to do or say this evening?
Okay, I'm gonna jump in because I'm going to... Is anybody at the game that owns the peacock of this estate?
So you inquire about the peacock and its ownership, and
Don't forget about the diet.
well, that would be part of our menagerie. Why?
Fine. Well, it's a wonderful addition to your menagerie and all like that. And throughout the night, sort of as we get a little bit into the gambling and stuff like that, if anybody's willing to take him up on this, Niles is going to try to sip but not sip the wine to make it appear that he is drinking alongside everyone else. And he's going to try to rope them into putting the peacock up for gambling.
Okay, this is a roll.
Yes.
Let's make a roll for this.
Oh my God.
And I would love to know what personality and skill. This isn't rolling to see if you win. This is rolling to convince someone to somehow put up the peacock as a bet.
Let's see. Can we...
This might be a good role to use passion.
Yeah,
also.
yeah, that's true.
I know
Remember,
you're very
you can,
passionate about that peacock.
the odds of you having to sweep your passion in the one shot are pretty low. So you can try to do it with pretty much no negative consequence at this point. If you invoke passion, just a reminder, you get to add 2 extra dice, and 5s will also count as brills. So you add 2 dice and then double your chances of rolling brills.
So I think for this one, we
Great
do
shout, Danny.
Obsession and intrigue.
Okay.
What do you think about those two together with a passion?
A dangerous cocktail.
I mean, there's subterfuge and secret planning in here, so yeah, I'm for this. And you said your personality was which?
I would use obsession because that's my
100%.
my obsession.
Yep.
Yeah, my idea of using for intrigue is to start off very calm, and we're just doing marks and things like that, and eventually work up to the peacock
100%.
as we go throughout the night.
I love this.
Okay. Let's roll. And
Were you
said
invoking
5s
passion?
Are available too. Yes, I am invoking a
Okay,
passion.
so yes, 5s are brills as well, and remember you add 2 more dice to your dice pool for invoking passion.
So, 3 brills
Woo!
and 2 glooms.
That means that is a triumph. That is our first full-fledged
Gonna
triumph.
make room for a peacock in
Yeah.
the car.
I'll hold it. Me just running down the street
So-
with a peacock.
So this is going to take a while. This is long-term, several hands. So before I say how that goes down, is there anything else here that anyone else is wishing to do?
Nope, Gregory's just taking advantage of the opportunity to have some free
Yep.
libations and play some games and enjoy himself before the hardship of trying to repair that mansion.
So on that note,
Niles is going to factor Gregory into the hands. I'm assuming Gregory was playing.
yes,
So he sort of saddled up to it. Niles is going to try to not work with Gregory, but use Gregory throughout the night as sort of an ex-patsy kind of piece to count cards essentially to get to this too. So he's encouraging Gregory to just keep drinking and have a good fun time and maybe kind of distract the other people at the table.
Yeah, and Philomena is happy to actively distract Rex. She'll pour drinks for him the entire time.
I love all of this. Gray, was there anything you wanted to chime in as well here?
If there are any books in the vicinity,
Oh, yeah.
so she overhears the conversation about the peacock and is lending an ear to that while perusing the library to see if there are any books regarding breeding, cultivation, training, any sort of animal-based books that she has not personally seen yet.
Absolutely.
Specifically peacock-related ones. And she's going to help herself to pulling it down.
While there aren't any tomes here that are specifically like your
How
new
to love a
your new
peacock,
peacock
101.
and you.
How to not get fired from high society.
The Valgreaves are definitely very interested in animal husbandry. And a lot of you find several books in here, and there are a number that are written by experts, but there are a number that seem to have been penned by members of House Valgrieve. And so there's
treasures.
lots to read here.
She's just going to peruse respectfully, just really enjoying this moment in the way that she knows how. High society's not her thing. Gambling's not her thing. She has no idea what's going on over there. I just know I have one thing that I focus on in life, and that is my passion and my joy, and I'm going to continue to consume in the best way I know how, and that's through these books.
Love it. So I have one quick question. Gregory, you said that you were taking advantage of, the food and comfort and all of that. This is probably the first time that you have been privy to the after-dinner drinks and opulence and dinner experience of the aristocrats. And because I imagine that, Gray, you may not have engaged in them, but because you've worked as household staff before, you've at least seen these things.
Yeah.
For Gregory, this very well may be the first time you're even peeking behind this curtain to this extent. And so I would love to know either how Gregory is feeling about all of this, or what we would see about how Gregory is feeling about all this. Either one, or both.
Yeah. So Gregory, part of the reason that he's been drinking so much is free drinks, but also I think it's been a little bit to get some of the nerves, out of his system, or at least not have to think about them anymore. Because he also, again, he doesn't really care that much about high society, but he also knows that he is going to be working on the manor. Part of that job technically right now is to also be here with the Astus Willows, and he doesn't want to screw that up because it is potentially a pretty lucrative job for him and the group that he works with. So for him, he's not as nervous as Gray is because he is very liquored up at this point. And honestly, at this point, he's probably being maybe a little more buddy-buddy with the aristocrats than he probably should. He's kind of, because he's been drinking so much, because he's, had so many libations, he is probably kind of treating them as drinking buddies, playing games together, having this rousing good time, which is something that the true folk would certainly do in their off hours. And so he's probably slipping into some of those, some of those renditions that he's, definitely been a part of in the past.
I love this. So the card game continues, and I forgot to mention, Lord Galdepark had once again changed. Though he kept the same undershirt, he has now acquired a smoking jacket and is in slightly more, still still very fancy, but a little bit more leisurely attire, which means that he brought 2 changes of clothes at minimum with him. This is not where he lives. This is not his estate. He came here for this dinner and drinks and brought 2 changes of clothes minimum. What a guy. But he's very competitive and not very good. So the concerted efforts of distraction and continuing to liquor him up and just better players means that his pot is very quickly diminished. But in addition to being competitive and not great at it, he is filled with delusions of his own grandeur and competence, and just that he just hasn't hit his hand is still coming. His cards are coming. And so at a certain point, he doesn't have any physical money to gamble anymore. And then...
I'm still in for the next hand, despite what... my word is my bond. I could wager...
And he tries to, like, I can wager, like, you can put $50 essentially of credit on my name and start suggesting things to you, Niles. Do you have an alternative suggestion? With that triumph?
About, we are just getting started on our estate and things like that, but my esteemed colleague over here, and she points over to Grayla and stuff, she's doing a wonderful job as she is planning for our animal husbandry and all of the things around our estate, but I would prefer the core of a peacock on our estate. And if you just happen to have one, maybe perhaps we could make a deal for one.
A peacock? Oh, Pastor. Lady Fidelia, that peacock of yours, how much would you sell it to me for?
And she cocks her eyebrow.
Are you trying to wager something you don't even already own?
It's a simple question. What would you place the value of the peacock?
For you, Lord Galdepark, the promise of a future favor, when I need it, should be sufficient.
Fine. I wager the peacock.
Fantastic.
Quickly loses it. Like, just right off the bat, he gets a 3 and a jack. He's got nothing here that he can work with. They're offsuits, and all the cards go against him. And you have the promise of a peacock. Though, as the result becomes clear, Lady Tessa Valgrieve says, while you certainly have won the peacock, may I simply suggest that it linger here until your estate is prepared to house new residents?
That'll be very short time.
Of course.
Trust me when I say when Miss Grayla does well by these. She does well by these. So, besides, we don't want to be trying to go home at this hour with a peacock, of course. We'll come
Could
back
you
later.
imagine the peacock traveling home with you in the car?
No, of course. I will send Miss Grayla to pick up our winnings later.
Then before you depart, Grayla, I will be sure to introduce you to the head of our our aviary, so that you know who to look for whenever the preparations have been made.
Well, thank you so much. I am very excited to see your aviary. I've heard nothing but great things.
The evening continues to draw to a close, and before too long, the less than subtle signals that the time for guests to be here is quickly expiring begin to be laid on to you all. A car is once again ready and provided for you all to be returned to Crowscroft Manor. Before that departure, is there anything final anyone would wish to do while here at Amsdale? All right. In that case, as the members of the dinner party who are remaining see you all to the car, well, let's be honest, the ladies of the estate don't see you to the car. They go to the front balcony or entrance path and wave there. They're not gonna walk down onto the gravel just to escort you. But with the four of you, once again, returning to Crowscroft Manor, let's take one final, really quick 5-minute break just because it's been another hour 20 here and I know people are hydrating. But we are going to be back here in fewer than 10 minutes to conclude this little story. And
Peacock house planning.
we've still got a little something up our sleeves. So we will see you all in about 5 to 7 minutes. Don't go anywhere. See you soon. And we are back. Costume change number 3. Let's pause this music here. Let's get back to our proper ambiance. Here we go. You all return to Crowscroft Manor. And the car quickly drives away after you are dropped off. And when you arrive back home, Maeve is still there. There are some lanterns that have been lit awaiting your return. But the contrast between the estate that you were just in, the drawn contrast makes the problems here at Crowscroft Manor stick out even more starkly. The well-manicured 5,000-acre estate and this overgrown, weed-infested area. The warm interior halls with roaring fires and tapestries and rugs compared to the bare, cold, rotting halls of Crowscroft. The countless dedicated and well-trained staff members of the estate you were just at versus, at the moment, a mere handful. The contrast makes the work ahead of you stick out even stronger. And so, as you all have alcohol in you, full bellies, socially exhausted, some of you physically exhausted, is there anything you all do before you head to your independent spaces to turn in for the evening?
I have one thing that I want to say to everyone.
Let's do it.
So, before we retire to the evening, I just want to compliment both you, Shaw and Venstar, on how well you did this evening and how proud of you I am. And while I may have come into this quite skeptically, I can see that it is necessary to refurbish this home so that it makes Amstel look like an embarrassment. So I am fully on board, and I just appreciate how much you helped the family this evening.
Thank you, lady. I assure you it is our honor to represent you and the family respectfully, not to mention the impending peacock on our estate. So thank you very much for the opportunity. We won't let you down, and full steam ahead.
Once we get some proper wine in here, just like they have, I'll cheers to that.
She looks at you slightly suspiciously, but then smiles. Proper wine.
Rain begins to patter against the roof and windows, and a cold wind finds its way in from the outside through the cracks in the masonry and the wood. You all start to retire to your individual chambers. Two of you on the second floor Two of you on the first. Two of you with large, still much needing of improvement chambers. Others with small, needing of improvement chambers. But eventually, you all go through your evening rituals. Maeve does offer to assist you, Lady Philomena, in preparing for bed, though her skills clearly do not lie in being a lady's maid. She does well, but that's not her expertise. Mm-hmm. That's what the other person she hired is for. But she doesn't start until tomorrow. Eventually, though, in dusty, cold rooms, you all start to tuck in and try to find sleep. But sleep is not the easiest to find, even for those of you who fall asleep quickly. Because in the evening, the house begins to make these faint, reverberating noises that carry through the walls. And at first, each one of you is perfectly willing to write it off as exactly what Maeve said. The old house simply groaning and creaking in the wind and the settling of the house. Maybe it's just the aged timber, it must just be the wind. But you all then hear this unnerving but undeniable haunting voice that rings out along with the wind. And as you start to listen, each one of you a little bit more, you come to the realization that the sounds that you're hearing in the walls, they're too rhythmic. They repeat too precisely to just be the wind or rats or creaking timber. Something else is going on here in Crowscroft.
Niles is just kind of sitting up in bed because he couldn't sleep to begin with because it was very dusty and yuck. And he was just kind of like looking around, and at like the third or fourth sort of rhythmic kind of piece, he was like, oh good. I was worried that Philomena had brought one of the liches home.
Gray is laying in bed with the covers up as high as they'll go, even over the head. And you can just hear, it's just rats. It's just, oh my god, it's just rats. It's just rats. Just rats. We're getting a
Philomena is going to get out of bed. She's going to grab a lantern or a light or whatever she has to go tell Greg to stop snoring for being drunk. Clearly. This is Mr. Shaw's fault. He drank too much port.
Gregory is laying in bed with the pillow over his head because he has a headache on top of all these noises going on and just wants to be able to sleep.
Until he hears the thump, 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 thump on his door. Mr. Shaw? Mr. Shaw?
He doesn't say anything.
And as you're out here knocking on the door and you don't hear a response from behind Gregory's door, you came here because you thought he was the source of the sound. But then you hear the sound continue. And it is from down the hall. It's not from here.
Can somebody else do it?
There it is.
She said it.
So how do you respond as you hear this rhythmic, soft banging coming from not in here, but further down the hallway?
Okay. Well, that's not going to be Lady Philomena's job. So we're gonna go to Miss Venstar's door next, and there is a thump, 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 thump. Mr. Shaw knows how to play this properly.
She comes to the door a little too quick, almost as if she was about to leave the room. And you see in the crack of the door your lovely animal friend with a blanket fully over her head and wrapped around her body. I have footsteps. What's going on?
There's
And she opens the door.
noise. I'm sure it's just the rats. Could you come and take care of the noise, please?
You see her shake a little bit, but then as she processes, you've said rats. Oh yeah, rats. That's a me thing. For sure, not gonna chicken out and not do this. And so she just drops the blanket and begins to walk down the hall.
I will say, as the two of you are standing here in the door, you hear the noise. Like I said, Philomena, you noticed it was coming more from down the hall, so you moved down the hall. But now that you're here, you notice it is coming from down the hall and up. Because you're on the first floor right now. That's where Grayla and Gregory's rooms are. But it is coming from above you, second floor, the floor you were on.
Oh, okay. Then Lady Philomena is very confused in her sleep and sleepy drunkenness, but still, it is Venstar. I need you to take care of this noise. I need my beauty sleep, please.
Okay, I'll grab Gregory and we'll check it out. You go get all snug as a bug on a drug in there and just sleep. And goes very cautiously over to Greg's and doesn't knock, but just with a nail, ting, 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 ting. Gregory.
Lady Philomena will just wait and walk, and right there, outside the
Nightgown
door.
and all, like,
It's a very stylish nightgown.
very stylish.
Looking very, very good, top to bottom.
Gregory, realizing he is not going to get any sleep and that people are going to keep knocking at his door for some reason, tosses the pillow on the floor, slowly gets up, staggers over to the door, and cracks it open a little bit. Can I help you?
And Grayla has a lantern that she had in her other hand, and she shoves it directly into your face. I need you to hold this for me while I investigate the noise.
The noise is the house falling apart. I thought we established this.
They think it's rats. I don't want to look stupid. Can you just come on?
Very well. Lead the way.
And she is going to approach the stairs.
Oh, Lady Philomena, you are here as well.
I am. Please, walk 20 paces in front of me.
Wait, are you coming? That's fine. It's not a big deal. And continues walking.
Let's go.
Do you have one of those cloves?
Oh, yeah. I totally keep my clothes in my pajama pants. Here you go.
Thank you.
I actually do have a problem. I like to smell at all times. So here, it's a little bent, but
And a light?
totally. Hold on. And just rushes right back to her room. Strikes the match.
Oh, thank you. Yes. All right.
With,
Was
with
it-
all the
okay.
running around,
Thank you.
I'm gonna come outside and just see what the commotion is.
And so
while
you-
she's getting the light.
You come outside
There's
as
cloves, there's lanterns.
as the three of
There's an
them
upside Gregory.
ascend the steps, with Grayla first, Gregory behind with the lantern, and then Philomena, cigarette and held closed nightgown, just walking behind.
This is beautiful. Honestly, someone needs to be
Niles,
art.
there's a noise. We need to take care of the noise.
We're gonna see if it's rats. Lord Niles, do you think is it okay if I call you Lord Niles? Is that or do you want anyway? Rats, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's literally just in black pants. Like, that's it. No shoes or anything.
Hot. scandalous. I can see your eyes.
Can we get on with this, Grayla,
Yeah.
please?
Totally. And she raises her voice just slightly as she leans in toward you. Totally. And then turns around and we'll go up the stairs. Light.
So, Grayla, you're leading this. So I would like you to make the main roll here, the first roll, to try to locate the source of the sound. And I would love to know what personality trait you use. I think observe makes sense in the setting for your skill, but which do you think is the most relevant personality trait?
Personality, because definitely observe. I would definitely say
Audacity does
anything
make
for
sense
that.
because audacity
Okay.
is like your self-assurance, and
Okay.
you're leading this charge at the moment, admittedly with someone kicking you to do it. But
I think either audacity or loyalty, because
Yeah.
she does not want to do this.
those both make absolute sense to me.
If you hadn't
So,
said rats, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm totally asleep," or "I was dead at the time."
so whichever you would like to use, go ahead and build your dice pool.
Okay, I'm gonna do loyalty.
Okay, so what's your total number of dice?
4.
Heck yeah.
Two brills and one
Gloom.
gloom. Yes, thank you.
That is a success.
I was excited about the brills.
The glooms have not dominated yet. Give it time. But you start walking along this upper floor, following the sound. And as you're following the sound, you notice scrape marks on the floor up here.
Scrape or scratch?
Scrape.
Okay.
That lead right to or from there right next to a bookshelf that is pushed against the wall, and with that number of brills, just doing a quick mental mapping of the estate, this should be right above or nearly above your room, but there's no door here, there's no room.
And she's just gonna scan the room with the light that Gregory's holding. I can tell you it's not rats. I have no traces in here of entrance or exit. There's something weird though. Do you know what's
And you
do
hear
you know
the soft banging now come from behind the bookshelf.
do you know if there's any renovation work because it's coming from there. I mean,
We haven't started any work yet.
I meant before. I think, and she leans her head onto the wall by the bookcase, and then kind of clocks the scratches on the floor, and just takes her elbow and tries to push it.
As you push the bookshelf by yourself, it's pretty heavy. It even without books on it. It's
But
a
does
large...
it wiggle like it's on a hinge or something?
No, not like it's on a hinge, but it does feel like you can move it. It's a book. It's not a built-in bookshelf. It has been pushed up against the wall, so you can. And maybe that's what those scrape marks are from.
Gregory, help me.
All
Help
right.
me push this.
I'll put
I'll hold
the
the light.
lantern. Oh,
Yeah, I'll hold the
thank
light.
you.
Mhm.
Wow.
All right. Kind of like stretches a little bit and then comes over to help you with the bookshelf.
Because there's a sound coming from behind.
And you scrape and move the bookshelf. There's just a wall behind it, but Gregory, you can tell that the wall here was put up with the intent of never being seen. It was put up, and then it looks like immediately had this bookshelf shoved in front of it. It's not even painted the same color as the rest of the wall. The wall is simply here, patchy quality, and that sound is definitely coming from behind it.
Someone, whoever, this wall does not look like it was part of the original house architecture. Someone built this wall and did a pretty bad job at it too. I mean, this thing is patchy. It's not even done right. It's like somebody did it hastily and didn't even bother to clean up.
Why?
I don't know, but I can hear the thumping behind it. There might be something breaking apart back there.
We have to get in there. We have to get in there. And she's going to start looking around for like a piece of wood, a piece of furniture, anything that she can use to strike this wall.
You did, among the tools that you located earlier today, find a sledgehammer. Of sort,
Okay.
A polyresin one, but a sledgehammer nonetheless.
I'll be right back. And is going to grab the lantern without even asking. Run out of the room. You'll hear a rustling in the room as you guys are in the dark. You'll rustling downstairs as you were left
As
in
we stand in the dark, so
pitch blackness.
Philomena's gonna start like taking drags off the cigarette to light the hallway.
It's just these pulses of this little orb of orange light as when it goes dim, the only light is from the moon coming through the window, and you just hear the sounds of rustling downstairs and thuds through the wall.
And she runs up the stairs. She's got the sledgehammer over her shoulder, and she thrusts the lantern into Gregory's hand, and she, without even waiting, takes a huge wide stance, swings it, and hits the wall.
Good.
What? We need to get in!
Masonry starts to fall. You get through the masonry that was put over it, and you get to bricks underneath. You hit it again. And as the bricks fall apart and fall beneath the hammerhead, you see a heavy oaken door behind the bricks and masonry.
And she backs away, holding the sledgehammer. That's not a me thing.
Gregory will take a closer look at it. Does it look like it's the door's locked, or I mean, he's not going to turn the knob completely, but he's going to see if it's locked or if it has a keyhole or anything like that.
It has a keyhole, but I mean, just really subtly moving the handle to see if you meet the resistance of a lock.
Mm-hmm.
You don't meet one. But then again, why would you need a lock for a door that's been bricked up and sealed?
Well, and did we have any sort of floor plan that we were able to reference at all?
Sure, absolutely.
When we were, okay. So, yeah, Gregory, if this is a room, if this is another wing of the house or something, it certainly wasn't on the blueprint that I was privy to.
No, it isn't.
Okay, well, I guess, and the thumping that we hear, is it like the door itself, or is it just coming from somewhere inside that area?
As you stand here with the masonry knocked away and this door revealed, the heavy door shakes with an impact. The rattle of the metal now no longer being held in place by the masonry and brick.
Gregory?
That does not sound good. That does not sound good. And he's gonna take a couple steps back.
And she puts her hand in front of the lady, kind of moving back. Gregory?
You don't have to tell me twice.
Gregory's going to turn the doorknob and just kind of crack the door open so he can get a look inside. He does have the lantern, so he's going to kind of hold it as he's pushing or pulling the door, whichever direction it.
Before the door can be properly opened, you have to, or Gregory and Gray most likely, have to pull away remaining bricks that are preventing the door from opening because it swings into the hull.
Okay, yeah. So we'll work together using the sledgehammer a little bit and using our hands to kind of just wrestle away what we can.
Pull it away and you reveal this dusty but beautiful oaken door. And you turn the knob, crack it open, and there is the undesirable squeaking of unoiled hinges as the door opens just slightly. And as it opens just that slightly, the door flies open, and a figure dressed in moth-eaten, worn-away, tattered gentleman's attire, but with ghostly white, pallid skin that hangs off of his bones, begins to charge towards each one of you. And so, we get to make a turn order roll here. So, which attributes are we going to use here?
Whose dad is that?
So, I would love actually a quick advice from you, Rachel, for in terms of deciding what abilities to roll for a turn order check. What would you suggest in this moment?
I think you've got, I mean, I don't even know that you need a turn order check for this, only just because
there's only one bad
Gregory...
thing.
Huh?
Just because there's only one bad thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, because you've got Gregory who's right up front, so you know
cool.
exactly who that, like, sorry, Gregory. Like,
well then,
that, you know who the target is, so it's a matter of, like, narratively, logically, you don't necessarily...
I love that answer. So what we'll go with in that case is, instead of a strict turn order, we have this thing, this flesh eater, this ruined person, and all of you.
Oh, ruined?
And so you all will get to choose each round what order you want to go in amongst yourselves. There won't be a strict turn order, but because of the surprise element, we are going to say that this thing gets to attack before it gets attacked. And so as you were opening the door, it crashes open into you, reaching towards you, Gregory. I need you to make me a resistance roll against this. So that is going to be a skill relevant to how you would try to defend yourself from this.
I think Gregory is going to use observe because he's trying to figure out what direction he can, scramble backwards to try and get out of arm's reach of this thing. So that's going to give me 2 dice.
Got it. Let's do it.
I did get 1 brill.
Fantastic. And just so you all know, those of you listening and playing, the way that physical violence works is, once again, like I said at the opening, I roll no dice. The NPCs do a static amount of vitality damage, and the PCs, depending on how they are trying to resist it, roll to reduce that vitality damage. So, Gregory reduced it by 1, which means you are still going to take 2 points of vitality damage as this thing reaches towards you, pulls you in, and starts to sink teeth into a shoulder and pull out some flesh. You have a bite taken out of you. Now it is all of your turns. Whoever you all think narratively makes sense to go first, we can go first.
I'm up front.
You are next to the one getting attacked, so that does make sense to me.
Attacked right now.
Okay, so I am exceedingly passionate about this mission. This was my mission. I was told to go check this out, and he just got bit, and that's my fault. My loyalty is going to make me fight. So my skill is going to be fight. My personality is 1, and I want to use passion if I can.
Absolutely.
That gives me extra, right?
Yes, it does. And
Fantastic.
5s and 6s become, or 5s become brills as well.
Okay.
Be sure to mark
Okay.
down that you invoked passion, though,
it.
just in case you end up using all of them.
Two brills, no glooms.
With 2 brills and no glooms, again, here's
Thank
another
God I passioned, though.
another little rule. NPCs don't roll to resist. It is how many brills you roll is the amount of damage that they take. So what do you do to inflict 2 points of physical damage to this thing?
So she had the sledgehammer in her hand from when they were trying to pry off plaster and brick and such. So she already has that in her hand, and she's going to use the blunt end of this weapon to just blindly go at this thing's face to push it back, like full hands on the hilt of the sledgehammer and just running at it to push it back and away from the 2 people that she's supposed to be defending, other than her friend. No offense, Graham.
Absolutely love it. So you just push this thing back against the wall, and as it slams against the bookcase, its head hits the back. Who's up next?
I'm gonna go ahead and try to find a weapon. I don't know if it's running into a different room, looking for candlesticks or a gun on the wall, like something, trying to find something.
Absolutely,
So-
I love it. Why don't you, because it ends up being pretty much the same either way, why don't you tell me what you find?
Oh, I want a gun. I want a big Rex Granville Galda Park shotgun. That's what I want.
So you know that there is one, but it's downstairs in the gun room. So you wouldn't be able to utilize it until next turn.
That's fine. I will pitter patter my aristocratic feet down the stairs.
Immaculately manicured.
Yes, immaculately manicured, and I am going to go get that shotgun. I don't know how to fire it, but I'm going to get it.
I love it so much. All right, so as Gregory was, had a bite taken out of him, Greg comes and shoves this thing against the bookshelf. Lady Philomena runs.
Somebody
As
else's job.
appropriate.
Now, we know running for good reason. The rest of you just see Lady Philomena bolt.
Honestly, that's for the best.
And Lord Niles?
He'll turn as Philomena runs, and he'll just go, oh, blast. And he'll just kind of, is it within, like, arm's reach? Can he try to throw a punch?
Oh, absolutely.
Can I use Audacity for that?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
So Audacity combined with Fight makes sense as the fitting skill here.
Yeah, my fight's 0. Very on brand for this character.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't do passion, so those 5s don't count. So just one, one gloom, no big deal.
So, with more glooms than brills, that is a catastrophe. So, I'm going to resolve that here in a sec on its turn. But at this moment, you go to throw a punch, and you just boom right into the wall, just And knowing the quality of the house at the moment, you punch a hole in the wall. Damn it, something else to fix.
Gregory bleeding out. Damn it.
Speaking of, Gregory.
Yeah, so Gregory, getting a little bit of a reprieve from that sledgehammer blow on the creature, is going to try and take the opportunity here to swing the lantern he has at it to try and, ignite it or at least shatter it on the creature. So I'm going to go and use passion here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually do defiance as I'm, trying to defy this creature. And then I'm going to use Observe because I'm trying to kind of find a good spot to smash this lantern into.
Ooh, okay. Using Observe instead of Fight. I dig that. I think that's cool. So just trying to find a moment, trying to find a spot, trying to look for your opening. I dig that. Let's go.
So that'll be 5 dice, but I get 2 extra because of passion.
And 5s and 6s. Both count.
Come on, money.
Let's see. We got 3 brills, 2 glooms. So we're good.
That is now correct me if I'm wrong. In physical combat, it's not like the glooms subtract damage. It's just the number of brills that matter. So that is a huge amount of damage. You had 3 points of vitality damage as you crash this lantern over the head of the flesh eater, and the oil catches and begins to burn up this thing. So now not only do you have a flesh eater who is very hungry, he's on fire too. And that is going to bring it up. And as part of that catastrophe for Lord Niles, it's focusing on you. And so as it comes to grab you, eat you, burn you alive with it, you get to roll to resist. What would you use to resist? You only get to pick a skill, not personality.
Come on, Money Hat, you got it.
Well, then I'm just gonna pick for Observe to hopefully not get hit by this thing.
Legit, totally fair. Watching its movements.
Yeah, watching it come to eat me. Yeah, that sucked. No ones though. No ones.
No ones, but no
ones.
brills.
But no brills. Nope.
That is
Close.
3
No brills.
points of vitality damage to you. As it runs over and shoves you against the wall, and it starts to scratch at you, but the fire and the oil has carried down its arm, and so as it's pinning you and slamming you against the wall, slamming you against the wall again as masonry begins to crumble down, the fire and the oil starts to seep onto you, and you start to burn as well. I didn't hear that. I think your mic cut you out because it was too loud, but I want to hear what your taunt was.
I said, your lord is being attacked. Help, 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 help.
Help, I'm being oppressed.
Hearing that, can I make my...
It is now PC's turn, so if you want to go first, let's do it.
She is, because she had jammed him in, and then you went to punch him, so she, trying to wind up this sledgehammer for another attack, she kind of sees that he's got you pinned now, and the fire is starting to spread in your body. She wants to get him off of you. So she is going to use the sledgehammer like a hook and try to pull him off of you and onto the ground with the sledgehammer down on his body so he can't move. Does that make sense? So I'm hooking and then pinning.
Got it. Are you trying to cause damage, or are you just trying to pin it so someone else can? I just want to know what result you're going for here.
I would like to be able to do damage, but if I cannot do damage and remove him from his body, then I will sacrifice.
So
I just don't want him to catch more.
So I'll give you an option here. You can, if you try to do damage and you roll 3 brills, since that is in usual situations a triumph, I will also let you dislodge this thing from Lord Niles. Or you could just try to dislodge it, and then you would succeed with 1 brill, but wouldn't deal damage. Your call.
Okay, well, I think at this point in time, she knows she can only do one thing. I can't swing and hook. So, personality ingenuity, to turn this weapon into a device to pull.
So you're just aiming to separate it. Got it.
I'm just aiming to separate and pin.
So you said ingenuity, and what skill are you going to use here?
We're going to go with, what is Express?
Not this.
Not this. I didn't think so. I was just wondering.
If you want to talk, if you want to talk the,
that, yeah, I mean, if you want to try to talk it down.
You suck, Mr. Flaming dead guy. No, I'm gonna pass on that opportunity, though glorious. I'm gonna go ingenuity, and I'm gonna try to observe the movements of this particular creature so that I can get in, get him down.
Sure. Let's do
Does
that.
that work?
Yeah, let's have fun with that.
Okay. I feel like it doesn't, but you're saying it anyway.
It's all about how
Okay.
you justify things.
Okay,
I
cool.
accept that argument.
Okay, so that gives me 5.
And since you're not trying to do damage or anything like that, it's not a big deal. Oh no.
I didn't get anything except for 1 gloom.
That's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
So, you wait for your moment, you come in here, you try to like use the sledgehammer to pry them apart. Grabs the hammer and boom, rips it out of your hand and tosses it down the hall.
Okay.
Who's up next?
I believe I am.
Let's go. You come running. You had dashed down the hall with your clove cigarette as your light source. Managed to run in, break the glass, because there's a key to this gun rack somewhere, but you don't know where it is right now. So break it, grab one of the guns, come running back upstairs. This will allow you to make a ranged attack so you don't have to get right in its face. But keep in mind, if it's a catastrophe,
I know.
firearms have
Yeah.
interesting complications.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna go with defiance again. I am gonna use a passion this time.
Might
So
as well.
extra dice for this. I have 0 fight. So I'm trying to figure out if I can convince you of transgress. Like
I am open to be convinced.
that this aristocrat is getting her hands dirty. So the transgression is that she's actually taking an active part, and instead of just straight up running, she went and got a gun, which is very transgressive for an aristocrat. That is my argument.
I'm willing to accept that. Let's do it. So how many total dice here? 2 from
That
your
gives me
passion.
6 dice.
6 with 5s and 6s as success.
With 6
Now,
and 5 to 6, I'm gonna blow this.
I'm
thing's
going to
head
let
off
you know
if
this
I
right
can.
here. Right here, right now. If you roll more brills than successes, or more brills than glooms, and you roll 3 or more brills, that'll be the end of this thing.
Well, we'll see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There they are. 4.
4 brills, and with mathematically there can't be more glooms than brills with 6 dice.
I did get one. I did get one.
Oh,
There was
one is fine.
But yes, there was a 5, which is the little dot,
Uh-huh.
and then I have.
Okay, so as this thing at the moment has both of its hands full with your brother and one of your hired hands, who, as Gray rushed in to try to pull the thing off of your brother, and now one flaming hand pinning your brother to the wall, the other that had pulled the
Yes, Lady Philomena is gonna put the clove in her mouth, and it's gonna cock this shotgun. And
Oh, come on, you know this is from
get
the
off
hip.
my porch style.
You know this is from the hip. She has an aim. But as...
Sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
Oh no, you are totally good. You clove in your mouth, so there's just this moment where you've never held a gun like this. But for some reason, you might be a
It just
natural
feels
at this.
natural.
And so we just have this moment where time slows down for a second. We see the soft, warm glow of the clove cigarette as you take one calming puff to steady your hands, and as you exhale, you pull the trigger. And Niles and Gray, you are nearly deafened, because in all of her excitement, The Lady Philomena didn't stop that far away from you, and this is a shotgun.
Right here, I'm now deaf on this
Yeah,
side.
your right ear is definitely ringing, but the head of this
Sorry,
thing
wasn't
just
concerned about hearing. Yeah.
watermelon explodes. Just and the thing stands there for a second, almost held up by its now rigor mortis grip on the two of you, as you two basically, by being held, keep it standing for a second. And then as you push its still burning hands off of you, it collapses and into flesh, dust, and bone meal.
Immediately gonna rush over to Gray. Gray, that's me. Immediately gonna rush over to Gregory. And start putting pressure on his wounds. You
It wasn't rats.
It really wasn't rats. But hey, and as she's just trying to put pressure on you, hey, at least you know you don't have to build an extra panic room. There's already one here.
But yeah, we should probably... There's gonna be a lot of work to do to get the ruin out of that room, though, and I'm not looking forward to that.
Just gonna look over at Philomena and the gun in her hand. Wow.
Philomena, maybe you should get your hands dirty more often.
See.
And Gray's gonna immediately look over to our loving lord who is partially on fire.
I'm dying.
And it's gonna go over there and just. Are you okay? Were you injured? Like Gray? Gregory?
No,
Can you remind
actively
name?
Actively dying, yes.
Can you? I have to apply pressure to his wounds. Can you? This place is. What a great investment, guys!
He's gonna try. Can I tamp out the remaining fire on
Just-
my arm and stuff? Yeah.
Goes back over to Gregory.
We see,
I have such high hopes for this house.
as you say, I have such high hopes for this house. We see a bit of a montage. The work being done on the estate. Some specialists brought in to help clear the ruin from this room. And as you're eventually able to explore this study that had been walled off in here, you find mementos of the man who was walled up in here. Wedding photographs. And even a leather-bound journal. The cat that is always present. And the journal itself chronicles this man's descent into ruin. He was a man named Hartford Galdepark. And his journal is a testament to his transformation. The first few entries, neat and elegant, talking about the acceptance of his fate. And the entries quickly devolve into shaky writing, and the final pages are almost nothing but ink smudges. The cistern of Crowscroft Manor gets repaired with the aid of the nearby Unbonded, a deal struck for the replenishment of the fresh water, and some trade on the part of Crowscroft to help the Unbonded to make it worth their effort. Over time, a decent complement of staff comes to live here at Crowscroft. The outdoor animal area is cleaned up enough that the cries of a peacock can be heard carrying across the estate as we see Gregory and Gray and numerous other hired hands doing everything they can to help bring this place up into high society, with Lord Niles and Lady Philomena watching on, happy at the progress. And that's where we're going to end this story of the first days of the new ownership of Crowscroft Manor. Thank you all so much for being here for this one-shot of this magnificent system. Now, before you go anywhere, first of all, please don't, so that we can raid and share the love. But I also want to give our two members who worked on this fantastic game to be able to give another shout out to let you know where you can find it and more about it. So, Danny, Rachel?
Yeah, I can go ahead and start here. So, yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, listening, however you're consuming this. My name's Danny. I'm the senior marketing manager here at Studio Hermitage. Our Brilliant Ruin is our kind of big IP that we've worked on for a while. We're very happy that it's out there. If you like what you listen to or you're interested in checking it out for yourself, you can find it on DriveThruRPG. The PDF is entirely free, and if you like what you read there, then you can get the book. It's currently available for sale on Amazon, and soon we have a couple other ways that you'll be able to get it. But you'll be able to keep up to date with all of that through our website, ourbrilliantruin.com. Has all the information on where to get the book, where to get the PDF, how you can play the game. We also do have a really fun announcement today. We partnered with Alchemy Virtual Tabletop, and there is a virtual tabletop version of the game that just launched today. So if you are listening to this in the future, just know it's already out. But if you go to the Alchemy Virtual Tabletop Marketplace, you can buy the VTT. They worked really hard on it, and it looks amazing. It has really cool sounds and music and images and all that cool stuff you can use to flourish your online games as well. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Rachel.
Yeah, I'm, again, Rachel J. Wilkinson, and I am the senior writer designer at Studio Hermitage, one of the creators of the game. And I just was really glad to get a chance to play, and thank you guys so much for diving into it. If you are interested in more stories, we do have a comic book coming out, and we also have Clonmore Heights, which is an audio drama that's out now, that is a full story about the Valgreaves.
That's awesome.
What was that called again?
It's called Clonmore Heights. And you can listen to it on any of your favorite podcast platforms, but it's also on our YouTube channel. Totally free to listen to it there, and it has really cool visuals that our art director put together, so it's like really good to have on in the background, kind of some moody atmosphere while the
we actually just put out a mega cut of all of the episodes in one YouTube video. So if you go to YouTube and check out Clonmore Heights, there is a full, you can just click start and you can hear the whole thing.
And thank you so much. Seriously, the PDF, like they said, it has everything. Literally every rule. It's not a sample, quick start. It is the full rules to the full game. You can get started playing this with your friends tonight. It's a very easy to pick up system. Honestly, the world is so much even more extensive than the system. You'll pick up the system really fast, and then you get to sink your teeth into this cool world, the Dramark. So, I want to give our other two members a chance to shout out where people can find you. Mallow.
Find everywhere at the Mallow Man. You can find all of the different projects and things like that I'm working on, as well as supporting projects like this, and a couple of upcoming ones that we're going to be working on together, which are super exciting, and I cannot wait to announce them and get them out there. So, hope to see you soon, and hope to see you all at Emerald City Comic Con coming up March 6th through 9th. We will have a booth out there, so come and hang with us and learn a little bit more about all the work that we're doing over on our channels over there.
And Lauren.
Hi guys, I'm Lauren. You can find me here, 1000 Faces TTRPG, or 1000 Faces Cosplay on Instagram and YouTube and any other places. I'm also 95% Lauren if you like a little skin to win. And I will also be at Emerald City Comic Con with Ethan and the wonderful Humanoid Studios or Humanoid Games. So that's going to be very exciting. For me, I'm just playing games here. I'm doing the same old, but I do want to make a special shout out. Thank you guys for letting us play this beautiful labor of love. It definitely takes passion to create a completely different world, and it takes creativity to allow others to do that as well. And by facilitating that, making it available to the public, and by putting your ideas out there, you've made the world a better and more playful place. And I just really appreciate that. So thank you so much. I've also put our beautiful link for the Colomore Heights in the chat. So guys, feel free to find that. I'm going to go ahead and pin it right now. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, and thank you all for playing, and thank you, Ethan, for setting this up. We had a really, really great time. It's as much as we immerse ourselves in this world so much, we don't actually get to play it as much as we wish. So it was a very, really fun experience for us to be able to hop in.
Well, honestly, that in and of itself is worth it to me. I love like the fact that you got to play in your world that you helped make. You should get to do that. You should get to reap the rewards of all your hard work and live in it a little bit. My name is Ethan. If you want to see more TTRPG content, you can always check me out pretty much anywhere as the Buff DM, or listen on Go Buff Yourself. We are doing a session 0 tomorrow for a high level 10 or part 1 of a session 0. I have to split it among 2 groups. Don't freak out, Mallow. For a high level D&D mini campaign, about 10 to 12 episodes, called Lords of Sin, where our 6 high-level heroes, like starting at level 16, heroes are going to be trying to take out some demon lords representing the 7 sins. So that will be probably very fatal and very dark, and I'm very excited about it. Thank you all so much for being here on the stream, listening to this story. Let's go ahead and start a raid. And before you go, I have to do one little thing of self-promotion. If you enjoyed this, if you want to listen to more things, please consider following our Twitch so you get notifications when we go live. That's free. And if you really liked it, if you feel like subbing, that's awesome. Never expected, always appreciated. Now, take care of yourselves, friends. Be good to yourselves. It's a stressful time out there. It's all right to take care of yourself, take a step back from the news, play a game with some friends, be good to yourselves, hydrate. And until we see you next time, go buff yourself. Hi, everybody. And we are